process of finishing a video that I just quickly edited. Um, and I couldn't even edit it like I really wanted to, but I just wanted to go live on Cakewalk to answer any questions that you may have. If you happen to tune in within the next 30 to 45 minutes, specifically, I will answer your questions or I will write your questions down and get back to you with them with the answer as soon as possible. So anyway, I'm going to get right into Cakewalk in one moment. If you are new to this channel, welcome. First of all, I'm Just a Norm, and I do tutorials on Cakewalk, music production, etc. Some other things you might find, some comedy videos or anything like that on here. But I am loving this thing. I'm feeling good. I am a little hungry. My stomach is probably growling right now. So if you hear something along the way, I apologize for that. If you're in the room and you happen to tune in, say hello. Tell me where you're from. And if I recognize your name, I know I'm starting to memorize some of the faces that are coming in on the live stream. So if you didn't know, right now I am actually doing live mixing. Well, not really live mixing, but I plan to go live sharing what I'm mixing, but I'm doing free mixing in order to help create vocal templates that you can use in Cakewalk. And I have one that I'm about finished doing. So I'm definitely going to do that. And then I'm going to start getting that out to you also, the way you can use it in Cakewalk. You just pop it in on your track or on your bus or whichever, and then go about doing your thing. All right, so definitely send me an email if you have any type of music that you want me to mix. I'm going to do that. I'm doing it for a limited amount of time. All right, I have one project that I've already received. I have two other projects that I've received, and I'm really just trying to dive into them, make sure I can make them sonically as pleasing as I can myself. Like I said, everyone has their own mixing style. So it's something to help you get better adjusted, like some of the nuances that we need in mixing, like, making sure that the levels are good, making sure that you have, your tracks are not muddy, that there's clarity there, but there's umph and bottom the way you really want it. So that way when you play it on your car stereo or if someone plays it on their headphones, it's not going to blow their headphones up, but it's going to sound full. So that's what I'm working on. If you have not been on here, see if I'm clicking to the left, you just know I've got my other screen over there. There is my link tree, so you can connect with me there. And if you want to just, hey, send me a chat or a message on Twitter or anywhere else, Instagram, etc., definitely do it there. And let's see, is there anything else that I need to talk about real quick? All right, I'm going to go ahead and exit out of my little editing software. I just want to make sure that I had rendered this video before I get into opening up Cakewalk. So let me open up Cakewalk, share my screen real quick. Hope you all are having a great day wherever you may be in the world, or a great night. Oh. Okay. All right. So the intention is this. I'm in Cakewalk this whole week. Now, I did not go live yesterday. So in case you know, or in case you didn't know, I'm going live every single day this week, with the exception of yesterday, because yesterday I did not go live. So I apologize if you was waiting for me to go live and I did not go live. This week, I had sent out a schedule on the community tab. All right, I'm going to have to actually, I guess, put this in the description so the way you'll know that I'm going live every single day this week. Tonight's focus is just me being here and answering questions. Think of it like study hall. Yeah, like you remember that from school. You go to study hall and you just come in and you make sure that if there was a help or if you need help with something, you just come in and do that. Now, before I get into any of this, let me make sure that I got audio. Make sure you all can hear me good. Good. Okay. I just want to make sure that I have audio because I should start doing that from the get-go as soon as I press live stream. All right, so think of it as like your study hall. If you have a question and then I know that I can answer it real quick, come on in. I'll take the question. And if you don't have any questions, well, that's fine. I'm just going to be here. I'm probably going to do some brainstorming, might play the piano a little bit, just try to figure out what I'm going to do. Because this week, when I go live, I'm going to try to create and record and mix and master and distribute one song this whole week. So every day will be something different. Now, I've never done this before. I've never recorded a song this quick. Normally it takes me at least, a few weeks, maybe a month or something like that, a few years to release a song. So I'm going to release something totally brand new. I don't know exactly what it's going to be. I don't know what kind of song it's going to be, what style it's going to be, but I'm going to go ahead and do it. So if you're interested in stuff like that, definitely consider subscribing to this channel and click the notification bell, because you need to be notified when this stuff happens, because I do not have a set schedule all the time when I post. But this week, every time that I stream, I do have a set schedule, and let's hope that I can abide by that schedule, because things do happen. This is life. But all right, let's see. Let's get into Cakewalk. Ooh, and I can play around with my screen a little bit. Do it that way. Do it this way. Yeah, but this is the best way, really. All right, so the last time I went live, I was talking about some new features, like different features in Cakewalk that I haven't explored yet. And, or not new features, but just things that I don't even think about exploring. So let me go back into a new project, and I'm going to create another empty project. All right, so I kind of talked about going down file and talk about edit. Like there are some things on here that I never even think about. So let me create an audio track first. You can right click, simply click on insert audio track, or you can do Control T on your keyboard. All right. And when you do Control T, you should get some more options that open up. So this is aim assist. So I got to even look at this. I don't even know what it is. Like sometimes I don't know what stuff is. So aim assist, it says it at the bottom, and you got this help dialog that you actually can bring up. Oh, I didn't do that right. There's a help module there. Okay. All right. So my help module, where did it go? Over here. Okay. Can you maximize this? Let's undock it. Can you stretch this out? Okay. All right. So I'm just exploring right now, because sometimes you need a lot of help with Cakewalk, and there's a lot of times there's explanations of what's going on and what to do. So if you ever highlight a certain section, normally it'll tell you exactly what it is. All right. So it says the aim assist to show or hide the aim assist line, which is a vertical line that shows the mouse pointer's horizontal position in the clips pane and vertical and horizontal position in the piano roll. All right, so put that down there. So is that this line that it's talking about? Yep, that is, okay. And I was wondering, because I had this project on another person that I'm actually helping out. I'm helping them, their project inside Cakewalk. They're importing MIDI files and setting it up so they can perform the music live. Basically, they're using like tracks. And I kept seeing that pop around, but see on mine, it doesn't pop around like that. So now you know exactly where to find it at. You go to aim assist, and now you'll see it dragging around. I hope you can see it on this screen really good, because I was looking at a video that I was just trying to edit, and it was from one of the live streams. So I kind of cropped it up some, And I was noticing that it seemed like my mouse was like jumping around, like I was like, what is going on with this thing? It was really crazy. I see there's two people in the room that stayed in the room. We had two people that came in earlier and they left. But hey, if you sneak in for like 30 seconds and you dip out, I understand because it's late at night. Some of you all may be asleep, or if depending on where we are in the world, some of you all might just be waking up, or you might be at work right now and trying to catch it on your lunch break. But if you're in the room, say hi. Let me know who you are and who's there. I've got my chat right there, so I can make sure I see whatever comes in. And I'm just kind of going over a few things. And if you have a question about Cakewalk and I'm able to answer it today, I definitely will answer it today, right on the spot. All right. Yeah, so that aim assist, I never really paid attention to that because this is some of the things that I really don't ever trip off of. Select all, select none, audio snap, slip stretch. Okay, from now through now. I remember some of these things from before. And of course, preferences are one of the biggest things on here because there's so many things that fall under preferences, right? This is where you go. You want to adjust your audio settings. You want to change devices that are connected, like if you have multiple devices, like a controller, configuration file. Some of this stuff I do not mess with. I do not mess with this. And a lot of these things I will tell you not to mess with unless you are an advanced person. But it's good to look through the sync and caching or caching. I guess that's how you pronounce it. I can't remember. It's been a long time since I worked on computers. But this playback in and out buffer size, this is something that you might frequently have to adjust, right? Once you get adjusted, you should be fine. But the idea is that if you notice that some reason you're having like some lagging in playback, try increasing the buffer size. Okay, so I have it at 1024. Yours might be at 256, might be at 128. I don't know, but you can always boost it and see if it helps. The good thing about boosting something or changing something is that once you change it, it's not fixed there forever. You can always switch it back to whatever you had it on. There's some settings up here for synchronization, specify audio synchronization, hard disk cache settings. Okay. So this part I don't worry about, but this part right here, I really do. Anything dealing with latency, I definitely want to adjust it. MIDI devices, of course, you here. I don't have anything on right now. Normally I would have this keyboard on this side or even this controller right in front of me plugged up. And Vienna Instruments, I guess, has an input as well. So you can use that. Playback and recording. All right, these are some of those MIDI messages, CC messages that I talk about, or you might have heard me talk about. I remember having to deal with all of this stuff back when I was taking audio classes, audio engineering classes in school, and we talked about aftertouch, controller. Anytime you're dealing with synthesizers, you might have to do this. So if you're really heavy into programming or making sure that the sound does something a certain way, this is a section where you want to go here. So, and these are just letting the computer know that, hey, I want to record the key aftertouch, or I want to record the channel aftertouch. But for the most part, we normally just record notes. We record a controller, any controller messages, the pitch wheel, and system exclusive. All right, so there's some other things in there to look at. And like I say, anytime you're not quite sure, you can always click the help section. All right, and the help section it should load documentation. This is gonna be your best friend because sometimes you will find things that nobody knows the answer to. And if that's the case, good thing there's a manual. And then sometimes on here, you'll be looking at the manual and you might not find what you're looking for. So that's where you got to reach out to a real person. All right. Does anyone have any questions? Any questions at all so far? Okay. Just to give you a heads up again, I am going to be doing some free mixing. I'm mixing one project already. And this is just to help me create more vocal preset templates. So we have the instruments section, right? The instruments section is where we can set it up. Now, the good thing about it is that sometimes you might actually have different controller or different devices loaded in here. Like if you had an Alesis keyboard or if you had a Yamaha, you might actually see it come up here And then you can actually tweak that, or not tweak it, but you can set it for each of the multiple channels. So if I want to say channel 1 is going to go to general MIDI, blah, 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 I can go through all of this, or I can set it as default. So default means that whatever I plug in, it'll just set it up automatically. Or I can define it. Once again, more advanced settings. You might not have to deal with this at all. Normally, when you plug in a controller, as long as the drivers are installed, you should be pretty good to use it. Control surfaces, this is very important if you want to program your controller to operate Cakewalk. So like if I want to be able to press play, or I use my keypads to, play different sounds, then this is where you would go about setting. I do have a video to talk about how to set up my Impact LX25. And that same process will work for pretty much any other type of controller. Everything might be a little different as far as the buttons. I've talked about Drum Map Manager. Hey, how's it going, Kim from Denmark? Welcome. How's your day going? It's probably going to be, it's early morning there, right? Probably like, I don't know, what, 8 a.m.? What time is it right there where you're at? I know it's midnight right here, a little bit after midnight. I want to say there's like an 8 or 9 hour difference in time. I can't remember my time. I used to be a time when I was doing network marketing. I used to be online all day, all night long, talking to people all across the world. So I have had a team. I'm not doing it anymore. I had a team in Cambodia, and I used to talk to, it's just like I got used to staying up late and talking to people at a time that was convenient for them. So, but let me know what time it is in Denmark. I'm very curious right now. I'm kind of forgot how to adjust that time from where we are now. It's 12:16 a.m. here where I am in St. Louis, Missouri, United States. So 7 in the morning. Okay. Yeah, I figured it was about 8 or 7. I thought I was close to that. Cool. So that is really good, man. So welcome to the stream. Tell me if you're in the comments, let me know what you're, well, not in the comments, but tell me on the live stream what you're working on. Do you use Cakewalk or use any other DAWs? Or you have any questions about Cakewalk? You just tuning in, because I know you might be going to work. I don't even know. It's 7 o'clock in the morning. I know I would be going to work around that time. I'm just kind of going through and just talking about Cakewalk. And if any questions pop up, I'll go right to answering those questions. So anyway, let's see. Photo locations, very important. Be careful, not to mix this up, because if you come in here and accidentally type something else or switch it to a different folder, now you be trying to look for your folder. You'd be like, where is this stuff at? Oh, and we talked about CAL scripts. I remember that somebody asked about CAL scripts. So CAL scripts are actually stored in a certain place. And that's going to be another topic that I'm going to cover eventually, because CAL's not even really used. Nobody really trips off of it right now, but back in the day, that was one of the things that you really wanted to do, is use those CAL scripts. And some of this stuff down here, it's like other things that I don't really ever get to. VST settings, this is like a way to scan plugins, but of course you can do this through the actual Cakewalk plug manager. And some of this stuff down here, scan options, hide, delete the VST. Okay, that might be good if you have duplicates of plugins, you can hide them. Yeah, some other cool stuff down here. I'm just going through here because this is like stuff that I never really ever look at. Like when you go to the preferences, there's only really like probably 4 or 5 things that I click on for the most part. Project recording. So here you can set the recording settings, and this will be default. So whenever you go into Cakewalk, it'll always be like that. But you can also change it when you actually click on the playback control settings up here. On a transport. But if I want to do comping, so if you're doing comping vocal tracks or comping, any type of track, this is great. Overwrite, I did this video talking about all these different ways of recording. Overwrite just means exactly what it is. It's like, if you stop and you press record again, it'll record from where it's left off at. But if you go back a few measures or a few beats, it'll record whatever you had, or record over it rather. So be very careful with that overwrite. Yeah, it's not really a good thing. And sound on sound is very good for blending. Like, if you wanted to, if you ended a phrase, but you wanted to pick right back up, this is very good. So normally I use sound on sound, or if I'm really serious about singing some parts or recording some parts and I know I'm going to need a few different takes to get the best sound, then I'll do comping. Some of the settings on here, you can allow arm changes during playback, recording. You can auto punch. Auto punch comes in handy if you're doing comping or any of these modes. So, because you can punch in right at a specific section and punch right back out and not affect any of the other data that you already recorded. Loop recording, you can put everything into a single track or you can store it into separate tracks. And then take behavior, like if you're doing new takes, if you want to create a new lane, that's great. Or if you want to reuse existing lane, unless the takes overlap, you can do that as well. So it's a few other options. Multi-track groupings. I never messed with this down here before, so I have no idea what that is. And this is the reason why I'm looking through this stuff, because sometimes I don't even read over it. I just be like, you never know what you need in Cakewalk or any DAW for that matter until you come to a question that you have for yourself or a question someone else asks you and you don't know the answer to. And then that's when you have to go research. So let's see, MIDI. Once again, these are settings that you may not have to deal with, but if you're using with doing like other external devices, then you might want to do MIDI control MMC. Whew, some of this stuff I haven't seen in like 20-something years since I was working on the original Cakewalk, like Cakewalk Pro Audio or Cakewalk, or even Sonar for that matter. So metronome is very important. A lot of times I get the question like, what is that little what is that noise that keeps coming on? So if you're beginning to Cakewalk, you're just coming in, or any DAW for that matter, and you're like, man, what is really going on? Why do I keep hearing this noise in the background? And you're like, I hope I didn't record that into my vocals. No, you did not record into your vocals unless you have it feeding back through, or unless you have your headphones off and you're using speakers while you're recording vocals, which I know you wouldn't do because that's a big no-no. But you can do a record counting and then you can set that to measure or beats. You can set it to play while doing the playback or doing the recording. You can do beat subdivisions. So this is really nice. Like if I wanted to do triplets or I want to do quarter notes, it would be just one, and then eighth notes, triplets, and 16th notes. I haven't really tried it this way before. I feel like I'm going to try it. Let's try it and see what it sounds like. You can also change the first beat if you want to change it to a different sound. I have it on ping high, but there's a bunch of different sounds that I could change it to. So I can change it to like cowbell high, and then maybe put that on cowbell low. And then I can have the metronome come out of the metronome part, or I can have it come out of a different part. Maybe you only want your metronome to come out of your headphones and you don't want it to come out of nowhere else. Or maybe you only want it to come out of certain speakers. If you got multiple speakers plugged up, you can route this stuff any kind of way. Or you can use, if you don't want to use audio metronome, you can use general MIDI. And in this case, if I use a MIDI note, this first note, F#3, is going to be hi-hat, close hi-hat, and F#3 will be the other hat. Still just going to be close hi-hat. It's just going to be the velocity level will be different. So the first beat will be accented or stronger, and the other beats will be softer. So I can play around with both of those, see what that sounds like. Let's go back to audio first. And let's pretend that I'm going to record something. All right. Once you press apply, press close. And then I'm going to go. It takes a little while for it to do it. It might be because I'm streaming too as well. All right. So let's say I'm just, I'm not trying to maybe I'll sing something. I don't know. Let's set up our input first. So I've created a track already. If you don't know how to create an audio track, press Control T for a shortcut, Control and T on the keyboard, or you can right click, insert audio track, and do it that way as well. Make sure your input is set correctly. I can't stress it enough. You have to make sure that it's set to the right channel. If you're using like a Scarlett, or you're using something, that's just like one track, or one input, two inputs, then you might just be doing, if it's in channel 1, it'll be 1L. If it's in channel 2, it'll be 2R. And if you're running like, I don't know, 2 microphones on your drums or 2 microphones on your guitar, then you might want to do stereo. Or you might want to run a mono, and then you can mix them together later on, whichever. So anyway, for this particular mixer, I'm using the X-Air 18 made by Behringer. I love the mixer. I use it all the time in my live shows. Got this and access to a few other mixers too as well. But I'm plugged into input 12. This is this microphone you see here, which is a Behringer microphone. Now, some of y'all might knock Behringers. Many people knock Behringer. Okay, I've been with Behringer for a while. Okay, none of this is sponsored or anything like that. This is just stuff that I've used. I've been with them when equipment wasn't that good, and I've been with them when equipment got a lot better. And since they partner with Midas and other companies, I feel like everything has been improving a lot more. This microphone, I bought it. It's only like $10, but it was one of those things where I think it was $20. And I think it was buy 2, get 1 free, or buy 1, get 2 free. And I think it was like $20 or $30 total for 3 microphones. So if you do your division, it's about $10 per mic. So I use this mic now here. I used to use an MXL, Marshall condenser mic when I used to do all my tutorials before. I use this, and it seems like this still picks up really well, so I can hear all the nuances and noises that's in the space that I'm in, my apartment complex, because this is an apartment. I'm just a regular guy. I'm not a multimillionaire out here making videos yet. Okay, yet. Okay. You're in agreement with me? Good. I'm glad you're in agreement with me. All right. But yeah, I have that microphone down here. And I've been using this one for a while because I feel like it's cool. It works. I had to adjust the EQ on here to make sure that it sounds good. But anyway, input 12 is where I'm plugged at. Let me get back on topic, because sometimes I talk a lot and I get off. All right. So basically here I am. And let's see what that sounds like if I press R. Okay, did you see how weird that was? Like, that was 16 notes, and I'm at 120 beats per minute. Let's slow that down real quick. 80. All right, and then I gave myself 2 bars of count in, right? Control Z. All right. When I press Control Z, it turned my metronome back. Shortcut Control Z is your best friend to undo any mistake that you just made when you're like, oh crap, what did I just do? Control Z. All right, remember that. But if you just deleted something and you press Control Z, but you pressed it too many times, and then you end up deleting something you wasn't really trying to delete, and then you were like, oh, oh shoot, I went too far. I deleted too many different things. Press Control Shift Z, and that would allow you to redo what was done, okay? Keep that in mind. So did you hear how I have it split into 16th notes now? Listen to it again. And if I wasn't sure if that was 16 notes, I can put my count in right here. Okay, well, even though it's playing right here anyway, I really didn't need that for recording. So if you was a person and say you was playing a drum beat, okay, and you're playing this drum beat and you're using 16th notes on it, you might want to put the metronome at 16 notes. That way you can get your 16 notes lined up perfectly with that. But I do not like recording like that, so I can go back here and I can change that again. Notice how I clicked on, it's very tiny, and I know I can't zoom in on here, unfortunately. So I go back to the metronome settings, which is up here on the transport, under here where you see the time. which by the way, you can change to as well. Right now it's set on, now time is set on milliseconds. If you right click, let's do that again. Right click, you can change it to measures, beats, and ticks, or hours, minutes, seconds, and milliseconds, but I forgot what the F stands for. Well, not okay. I don't know what the F stands for. Milliseconds is right here, but I think this is milliseconds too as well. Or you can change it to samples, right? And in this case, if I want it on the time, then I could do that right there. So right where this is, you want to go to the right corner, all right? Metronome settings. And then let's set that back. And let's just put it on half notes. All right. Or not half notes. I always get that mixed up when I see it's half. Okay. Not half notes, eighth notes rather. And I'll keep it on the cowbell for now. I don't know. What do you all think? Did you like the cowbell? All right. And you can notice it's slower now. Just went to the store, gotta get this thing going. We doing a cakewalk, late night tutorial. I'm free flowing, 12:31 a.m. in the morning. All right, okay, anyway. I'm not really trying to make no song right now. But if you tune back in the rest of this week, I'm going live pretty much every single day of this week. This whole month, I'm going live every single day. Some of the times will vary, but tomorrow night, I'm going to be doing, it'll be late like this again. I have set 2 challenges for myself. One, to go live every single day in the month of April. Okay. I already messed up. I didn't go live yesterday, so I apologize for that. If you was one that followed this channel anyway. The second challenge for myself is tomorrow, starting tomorrow and through Sunday, I'm going to record a brand new song. I don't know how detailed it's going to be. It might just be piano and vocals. It might be a whole production. I have no idea. But I got to brainstorm that between now and tomorrow night when I actually start. So I have 2 days for music production. All right. Then I'm going to have 2 days to focus on mixing and mastering. And then the last day, I'm actually going to distribute it. So I'm going to show you how to put a whole song out in 1 week. All right. Now, I hope I can get it done. Hey, Tony, how's it going, man? Good to see you. MIDI lessons. Some of the folks on YouTube fly through it all so quick so they don't show how they get to stuff. Well, I tell you what, I am here only for questions right now. So it's not about me. So if you got any question about what you're seeing I'm doing, but right now I'm not really flying through anything. Earlier, I was kind of exploring some of the things that are in edit and preferences. And I just kind of stumbled upon, well, not really stumbled upon, but just kind of reinforced the metronome and how important it is and how to adjust things on here to get different beat subdivisions, to get more count ins, to change the sounds of what you hear. So I was playing around with this cowbell and I changed the beat subdivision into 16th notes, which is 1/4, and then 8th notes to 1/2. So I was just kind of playing with that, and I just recorded something, just trying to flow, trying to come up with something. I don't know what, it's nothing real serious. But no, I haven't gotten into anything really crazy with MIDI yet. Just kind of just here, So if you got any questions and that I'm able to answer, I will definitely do that. But anyway, I just recorded this. Just went to the store, gotta get this thing going. We doing a cakewalk, late night tutorial. All right, okay, so here we go. There's a vocal. Audio wise, it's very low. Okay, it looks like the peak is, where's my peak at? Like -20, between about -16 decibels. Now, ideally, when I record a vocal, I'd like to get I like to start off being around -9 decibels. So I need this wave to be much bigger. There's a few ways I can do this. One, I can say, forget the wave. I'm not worried about it. I can just boost the gain. All right. If I need a louder volume, and then it'll be louder. We doing a cakewalk late night tutorial. Yeah, but who wants to turn that gain all the way up to 13.4? Okay, that's not going to be ideal. Also, I don't really have to do anything with the gain because I can just use compression and bring it up. Or I can do this. And I don't know if people do this or not, but I do it. So, and I've done it for years. I go up to process. All right. Start right there first. Process. I go to apply effect. And then I'm going to go down to what's called gain. I can also go to normalize. All right. Let's do normalize first so you can see what that does. All right. So normalize, I can set this maximum where I want it to be. And I can say I want everything at 0 decibels. All right. Now I don't know if it's going to go all the way up to 0 decibels. You also can do normalize to maximum peak value, normalize to -0.5 decibels, -1, -1.5, etc. All right. So I'm just going to, let me use one of these first. And let's see, I want to do it to -1 decibel. All right. Let's see what it does. All right. You notice instantly my audio got a lot bigger. Okay. I'm going to zoom in all the way. And I can tell that I am about at -6 decibels for some of my, I think that's my highest peak, highest transient rather. And okay, so now it's hot now, right? Just went to the store, gotta get this thing going. We doing a cakewalk late night tutorial. All right, so I've got my volume a lot louder now. I can go even louder than that. I mean, now I can turn the gain up some more, or if I feel like I wanted this to be a little hotter, but I want to make sure I leave room for all the processing I'm getting ready to do, because once you do the processing, right, we don't want this to get distorted. But the cool thing about recording at a low volume digitally like this is that you get low noise. Like you don't get as much, what do we call it? Low floor noise. I don't know if you heard that before, but basically, and when you're dealing with analog equipment, you had to have the gain a certain level. Otherwise you would get all this and when you get ready to bring your vocals up, when you're mixing, and now you bring it up and you're like, shh, you're hearing all that in the background, and you're like, dang, what is all that? So with the digital world, you don't really have that problem. So if you ever feel like, man, I didn't get enough output, or enough volume when I was recording my vocals, you do want to get a decent volume, but just keep in mind, you can always boost things up later on. So it's better to be lower than to be distorted, because if I'm distorted, I cannot fix that. And digital distortion does not sound like analog distortion. Digital distortion sound, it'll just clip, which means that eventually some of the audio will kind of cancel itself out, basically. Whereas analog, back in the day, just that's how you gain, like, certain distortion on the vocals, those characteristics. But now, of course, we have plugins to do that. You said creator sauce is cool, but Mike, I believe, assumes that we know how he got to that, but he didn't slow down and show it. Like, which button did he press and such? I understand you. It's an STL thing. Tony, are you in STL? Are you in STL? I don't remember you. I thought you said you were somewhere else. Okay, yeah. I'm guilty of that too as well. I have comments that come in that say, matter of fact, I got one a few days ago. It was like, well, you didn't show us how to create an audio track. And I went back and I said, okay, now normally I'm defensive. I'm like, what? Yes, I did, but I had to go south of you. Okay, got you. Yeah, south of cool. I had to go and I had to say, hey, let me step back. Let me review this video, because I have this mentality, right? The customer is always right. All right, years of being in customer service, working at a library, working at a restaurant, working at a school, working at multiple schools, etc. Um, I had to step back and I had to say, hey, let me look at this video and see what I did. And what happened was I clipped when I did the editing, I clipped it because I was trying to make the video very precise, like bam, 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 hit you with the knowledge and get out the way. Um, I showed how to create the audio track, but I didn't go real slow. It just came up real quick, and then you just saw it popping up. I was like, yeah, right click, and then you go to insert audio, and there it was. And that was it. So maybe I should have told the person, like, hey, I apologize. And I say, hey, this is what you do. If you want to create an audio track, just press Control T. Simple as that. I don't know if they ever saw it, but not. But if you happen to see it right now, and you was the person who left the comment, I don't have my phone. Well, I have it in front of me, but I don't remember exactly who it was that sent the comment. But yeah, just press Control T, and you can do that thing. But sometimes we get in the habit of assuming that everybody is where we are. And even when I'm doing the beginner stuff, I still feel like someone is not getting the information, or it's not being transparent enough. So, which is reason why I wanted to start doing more live streams, and I'm forcing myself to do these because I love to be on here and I love to talk to people, but I love to be in bed too as well. I love to be in bed. But sometimes you just got to do stuff and you got to suck it up, because it's important for the community to understand this. Because anytime something new in Cakewalk changes, that's another thing that may trip someone out. Like if for some reason tomorrow, I hope none of this happens, but for some reason tomorrow, if Cakewalk says, you know what, we're not doing MIDI tracks anymore, it's just going to be audio. That would be like, people are going to be like, well, how do I do, so now, and then it'll start a whole bunch of questions and a whole bunch of like, man, I can't believe this free software don't have no MIDI tracks. So, but anyway, but that's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. Okay. We don't want to think about that right now. We don't want to think about that. So I got this audio track here. All right. Now I've been working on vocal templates. Vocal preset templates. I have 2 templates that I can actually insert on here right now that will make the sound much better. I don't know which one I'm going to use, and I don't know which one's going to make it sound better than what it is. I mentioned you were working with an older person. Well, that would be me now, but I want to get back into it because I have written a ton of songs during COVID and need to record. Yeah, you need to record. Yeah, I'm working with a, she told me she's 72 years old. Yeah. 72 years old, and she's a performer. She's playing piano, she sings, she's got a great voice, and she's trying to get something totally different that I haven't covered in Cakewalk. And actually, I don't think anybody is really covered in Cakewalk, so I'm going to create some videos on it, and that's basically importing MIDI tracks, MIDI songs that you download, like all of the popular songs that are out now, importing them and being able to edit them, set them up. We're using the arranger tool in here to create the song titles, basically. So where she has one whole master list of songs, and then she can drag and drop them to create separate set list. So that way when she goes to perform somewhere, she'll have her laptop, she'll have her Cakewalk up. Now, there's a much easier way than using Cakewalk, but she's used to using Cakewalk, and she has Cakewalk 3.0. And I'm talking not Sonar 3.0, Cakewalk 3.0, way back. So that tells you how long she's been using Cakewalk, but she's still new to this one. It's totally different. There's a lot more features on this one than you had originally, and it's a lot more complicated, or it can be at first. But yeah, I mean, and this is how I really got my start. Like, my father is a musician, and I play with my father quite a bit. He's a guitar player and piano, drums, plays everything basically like me. And from when I was a little kid, and let's see, I think we got our first PC computer in 1994, if I'm correct. 1994, is that right? 1997. Okay, it might have been 1996, somewhere around there, because I remember my dad had went to Sam's Club, bought a new Packard Dell computer. Uh, yeah, I know y'all don't remember that name. Some of y'all like Packard Bell. What is that? Packard Bell computer. Previous to that, we had an IBM with the 5 1/4 floppy disk. You know, operating system on one floppy disk, and you had all your data on the other floppy disk. And I used to go to town on that thing because that's where I wrote all my songs and wrote all these lyrics. And I probably wrote, I don't know, 500 some songs then when I was a little kid, you know, just typing away. And all of that stuff I had, I don't remember none of those lyrics. I don't even have that stuff anymore. Okay. I've been in the music business all of my life, and I was an engineer back in the analog days, but this whole thing is new. I just hit 69, maybe older than your dad. Yeah, my dad is 60. What is he? 66, 60? Let me see. I can't count right now. So 59. Yeah, in 2029, my dad will be 70 years old. So yeah, I think he's 50. I forgot, man. I don't know, 50, 63, 64, somewhere around there. I think that's correct. I might be wrong. I'm not trying to calculate this right now, but yeah, you are definitely, not saying it like that, but you are older than him. I'll put it like that. 69. Yeah, you're older than him. But yeah, so I got this audio and I am good to go. I'm going to insert an FX chain preset. Now, right click on here to FX pane. And what you probably didn't know, if you're seeing this now, if you're seeing it later, is that there are already presets that are inside Cakewalk. So you go to insert FX chain preset, and then you're going to see a bunch of them here. And of course, you can create your own. So I have one right here for my song I'm Sorry, which I still haven't finished yet, but I got to finish that too as well. You got mastering plugins in here. You say, yep, I'm old, but I'm slow. No, it's all good. So I believe that everyone has a challenge, and your challenge may be different than someone else. Like you might be a great carpenter, but you don't know how to ride a bike. Or you might be a great singer, but you don't know how to write a song. Or you may not be good at Cakewalk, but maybe you do know how to do audio engineering. So you already have an advantage because most of this stuff has not changed. When I go from doing live sound to doing studio sound or studio recording, most of it has not changed. Only difference is that you don't have the luxury to try to figure out what's going wrong uh, like it is when you're doing live. When you're going live and you're doing someone's audio live, and you got multiple bands coming up back to back, and you got one band that says, oh, yeah, we've got 3 people, and the other band says, oh, we got 10 people, and you're trying to make sure that all the sound is good and all the microphones are working, that's when it becomes an issue because it's not just you dealing with your computer. Now you're dealing with people as well. Now, if you're engineering for a group or engineering for someone else, that's paying you, then yeah, then becomes a headache again too as well. Because if you don't have it right, it's like, oh my God, it can leave a bad impression on whoever you work with. I'm like, yeah, I came to the guy's studio. First of all, he didn't have he needed to update his drivers. The software wasn't even working. Shoot, everything was distorted. Shoot, his headphones were broke. so, so I'm like, this is why I feel like it's a great opportunity for people to be at home and, use use the computer and be able to just focus on learning how to do everything at your own pace. and that I think that's what's important. Um, it took me. I've been in the digital world using, like I said, I've been using Cakewalk since the '90s. Okay, Cakewalk came out in the '80s. It was just MIDI at first, just MIDI, no audio tracks originally, which is why. And I can't. I mean, back then the standard was Pro Tools. Cubase was out. Okay, Cubase came out in the '80s too as well. But and I'm trying to think. Okay, so you had Digital Performer. What other DAWs are out then? I can't remember. I can't remember when Digital Performer came out, but all of those were. Oh, and actually, Logic came out like early on too as well. But it was just like those were not really heard of. It was all about Pro Tools. Everybody wanted Pro Tools, but Pro Tools was really expensive, and it wasn't like available for everybody. It was only available on Mac. And then when Cakewalk came out, Cakewalk was like it. If you wanted to do MIDI, you went to Cakewalk because Pro Tools did not have MIDI tracks. They only had audio tracks. So it was kind of like it just depends on what you want to do. So if you was doing like instrumental stuff or music and stuff like that, then you went to Cakewalk. Until when I guess I want to say Pro Audio. I think Pro Audio was the first version, or maybe I can't remember if any of the other earlier Cakewalks had vocals or had audio tracks. But I know when Pro Audio came out, that's when it was like, hey, Cakewalk was like, we're here to stay. We mean business. And so in the '90s was when we had that, and the way it used to look, boy, I mean, it's totally different than this, totally different than this. But yeah, man, I think it's like once you learn those details, they transfer over. It's just a learning curve of just learning how the software works. Okay, it's just like if you're a person that knows how to draw. And you can draw, by hand with no problem. But then when you get into the digital world and you're trying to use a tablet or, or Adobe Illustrator, Adobe Photoshop or something like that, now you got to figure out how the software works. You know how to draw, but you just got to figure out how the software works. So, A&R assistant at Mercury Records Nashville, produced Ray Charles, shows for casinos and many others. I bet you know many of my friends or your dad does. Okay, yeah, you play many STL bands. Yeah, my dad was like been hitting in bands. He's been playing professionally since he was 13 years old. So he was playing in clubs when he was 13 on guitar. So yeah, it's amazing. All right, so if I got mastering, I got modern. I don't even know what some of these are. I have not went through all of these, but what's retro? Chicken Stickin', classic chorus, double phaser, solid doubler. Okay, and let's go to the vocals. Vocals, background vocals, focus, bus focus, double wide, trailer, in your face vocal. I didn't even know it had an in your face vocal. I think I clicked on this once before. I don't think I really like this one though, but I can, let's see. Just went to the store, gotta get this thing going. We doing a cakewalk late night. Okay, so and like I said, even though you can adjust these, the problem that you can hear with this already is that the compression is like it's a squash sound. So I can open up the compressor, and it's not using Sonitis, it's using the other compressor that comes with Cakewalk, which I do like these two as well. I gotta talk about these. I haven't talked about these yet, but this is a gate and a compressor. But I can, I can still tweak it. I'm free flowing. 12:31 a.m. in the morning. Okay, you can tell it's distorted. Well, squash. I'm free flowing. 12:31 a.m. in the morning. It's a gatekeeper. All right, I can turn the treble down. 12:31 a.m. in the morning. If you want to get a lo-fi, you can go about doing that. EQ is, yeah, it rolled a lot of lows off too as well. It's rolling it off. It's got a high pass filter at 300 hertz. So you're losing a lot of body with this. This is, it's called in your face, but it's like, it's more like in your radio transistor voice, basically. But if I don't like that one, then I can go back and I can say, all right, well, I don't like that one. Then I can say, oh, let's do lead vocal setup 1 and see what that sounds like. Uh-oh. Just went to the store, gotta get this thing going. We doing a cakewalk, late night tutorial. Yeah. And that still sounds similar to the other one that I just heard. I really don't really care for that. Oh, I'm sorry, you can't even see what I'm doing, you all. I am so sorry. Once again, I apologize. I had it on a different setting, so I got to make myself tiny again. I wonder if I could drag myself up here. I wish I could move myself around, but oh well, can't do it that way. Well, all right, so when you go to the track in this pane area, you right click, and then instead of doing insert audio or soft synth or any of these other ones, you can insert the FX chain or you can insert the FX chain preset. So the presets are right here. And like I said, if you save your own preset, which I have my I'm sorry preset, I am going to probably put that one out too as well, because it might still work. So I can go through here, like if you got drums, drum bus, parallel, drum bus, or gated snare reverb, you can go through and use some of these. I was using the vocals, and I really didn't like that one. I used the lead vocal. Setup 1 was what I just used. I'm going to lead vocal setup 2 now. All right, and let's see what that sounds like. Just went to the store, gotta get this thing going. We doing a cakewalk. Okay, it's got a low filter on it. Yo. Hey James, how's it going? I'm free flowing. 12:31 a.m. in the morning. All right, let's do some looping real quick. Okay, press L on the keyboard. Let's stop right here. Yeah, I don't want to loop this whole thing, so you can drag it over. There's an easier way to do this too as well. But for now, I'm going to do this. So I'm just going to go to the top, drag this. Actually, let's just do this one section right here. And I'm going to bring this over, start right on it. Just went to the store, gotta get this thing going. Just went to the store, gotta get this. Okay, let's extend it just a little bit, because I get annoyed when you just listen to just one phrase for a long period of time. You'll be like, oh my God, I'm so tired of this phrase. Please pick some. Okay, we got the idea. Pick some different words now, okay? Just went to the store, gotta get this thing on. So if I wasn't really sure how to do this, I can mess with this. Tutorial. Got a frequency sweep. To the store, gotta get this thing going. We doing a cakewalk, late night tutorial. Just went to the store, gotta get this thing going. If I wanted more highs, I can do that more. It's like probably a high shelf. I can kind of see what the EQ is doing. So it's using Sonitis EQ on this one, yeah, and I can pin this to kind of see. If you didn't know how to pin, there's a pin right in the right corner. And all I did was just double click on the Sonitis equalizer to open it up. Yeah, nice thing. I just made that like right now, man. So nice singing. James, I'm going to be going live. Except for yesterday, every night, or well, not every night, but every day the rest of this month, I'll be going live. I am going to be posting videos. I do have a video that I just edited earlier. I'll post it. It's really from a live, but I just kind of trimmed it down some. So hopefully it is helpful. Kind of talking about how I went about mixing vocals for a rap song that I got from someone that wanted me to mix it, and the preset that I kind of created that I'm still tweaking, but eventually I'm going to release that to the population for a small token of appreciation, basically, or some small money, either way. I want to put it that way. So the good thing about this is these visible knobs, if you're a person and you're used to using knobs versus using, I don't know, anything else, faders for that matter, this is cool because you can actually see what the EQ is doing. So, gotta get this thing going. We doing a
because that's
cakewalk,
basically
late
flat,
night
even though it's got, and
tutorial.
then my
Just
sweep,
went to the store,
you can see is
gotta get
band
this thing
4,
going. We
right?
doing a cakewalk, late night tutorial.
And then when I turn
Just
it
went
up, of
to the
course, it
store,
puts more
gotta get
gain.
this thing
I dip it
going.
down, or I can.
We doing.
Good thing I like about most of these knobs that are on Cakewalk is if you double click, it'll put it right back center or right back at 0, or in this case, 50% basically. The compressor's on there, but I can take the compressor off. That's with the compressor on.
Just went to the store.
And maybe me, this is only just have an input. No, I'm sorry. That's not what I meant to say. I'm looking at this very wrong. Very interested in the presets you were talking about. I think it would save time, and I'm looking forward to it being available. Plus, I can learn by seeing how you are doing it. Stacking. Yeah, awesome. Yeah. That's what I got on the other video. Now, this is not one of my templates. Trust me, it ain't gonna sound like this. But these are some that come with Cakewalk, and it's good so you can kind of understand how this stuff works. You know, it's just like a guitarist. When I got my pedals out, and I don't even have no pedals. I'm just talking, my father has multiple pedals. Okay. So when he's got his pedals out, there's a chain, right? In any type of audio signal, there's always an audio signal chain. And in that chain, you can have, let me click this over so I can shift it over. So in that chain, you can have, let me put the EQ at the top. Let me put the compressor here. No. Oh, no, let's put the compressor at the top. Let's put the reverb in the middle. Then let's put the EQ. So the good thing about it is that you can move these things all the way around. And there's no right or wrong answer to how you mix stuff because it's all subjective, basically. Is that right? Subjective? Is that the right answer? Subjective. Or opinionative. I can't remember. I'm not back in school right now. So I go to school every day to teach, but I can't even remember nothing. So, but anyway, you can adjust this stuff however you want. So when you create something like this, and I like the way this looks versus on my pro channel. So the one that I created works for the pro channel. It doesn't look quite as elegant as this, but it'll be the same thing basically because it'll have multiple plugins on here. So, so if you wanted to click on one, you could just slide it over. And it's just like when you have multiple pedals and you coming out of your delay, going into your flanger, going into your wah-wah, going into your distortion. Did I pay for auto-tune and how many do I have? So let me start off by saying auto-tune, I have the cheapest, I think it's the cheapest one they have, all right? I did sign up for it through Lander, okay, Lander Audio. Lander, if you're not familiar with Lander, Lander is a company that originally started off as being an AI mastering software. Then it became distribution. And then they went into creating effects and creating, and then allowing other plugins from other companies to be filtered in. So I bought Auto-Tune through their company because it was like a rent to own, basically. Like $5 a month for, I don't know how long it was. I think it's 11 months, 10 months or something like that. It might be longer than that. So yeah, I have Auto-Tune on here, but I also have just that Auto-Tune. I used to use Auto-Tune a long time ago when I was at my parents' house and I had the old computer. Because then back then, you didn't tell nobody, don't tell nobody this, but we used to get a lot of plugins that were cracked, okay? So, and you probably been there before, and a lot of people been there before, but anyway, somehow we had a lot of cracked plugins, and I remember having Auto-Tune way back then and there. I don't remember which one it was, but it was like the original Auto-Tune. So I have the Gralian, which is on here, which is cool. That's just a free version of it. So even though they have another version that has more capabilities on it. Auto-Tune Access, that's the one that I have. And then Melodyne, which probably doesn't work now. This definitely does not work. But Melodyne, you normally get a trial with it with Cakewalk. And yeah, and you used to get this message that popped up that said to go activate it or go to Melodyne Player. And I used to click the Melodyne Player. Then it'll be a screen that pop up.
and then you click out of that screen and you will be good and you still be able to use Melodyne. But ever since I did an update about a year ago or a year and a half ago with Cakewalk, it just stopped working. So now it doesn't work anymore. Okay. James, did you... Ooh, boy, my eyes are tripping. I was like, can I read? Okay, did you do one on how to put delay on just one part of the vocal? Yes, I did, my friend. I sure did. And I've got a video for it, but I can show you how to do it right now. So since you're here, okay, and then James. Okay, I'm getting confused, y'all. Y'all confusing me. We got two James in here. We got James Brown. I feel good. We got James Antoine, and I was like, dang, didn't I just click on James? I'm like, how many James we got in this room? All right. Oh, and thanks for the heads up. Oh yeah, Mr. Justin. Okay. Yeah. So, James Brown, if you're still here, definitely. Do I know how to do this? So let's say there's a few different ways I can do this. All right. I'm going to go with the simplest way first. The simplest way first is to take apart, let's say, we doing a cakewalk late night tutorial. Just one. Okay, so let's say this Oreo or tutorial. I don't know if I'm going to get the whole word or not. Tutorial. Okay, so tutorial. Say I just want that part to be delayed. What I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight it. So I go up to the top. I left click it. I hold down the left mouse button while I highlight. All right. That's the first step. Second, I'm going to hold down control. All right. I'm going to click on the file. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. Don't press that. Oh, I did that wrong. Okay. Don't do like I just did. All right, I forgot that if you press control, well, that's another thing too. If you want to load the other, if you want to ever lower the waveform or reduce the waveform decibel level, just hold control. And then when you get this little red line there, you can do that too as well. I could have did that earlier too as well, but I kind of forgot about that. Now let me highlight this again. Actually, I'm gonna do a split. This will be even better. So I'm gonna split right here, right? Click on the track. Press S, okay, click here, press S, okay. Now I can take this part. How did you stretch that? How did I stretch the audio? Yeah, so a cool trick. So if you click on a track, as long as you're in smart mode, smart tool, you can press F5 to get, most of the time it's already set on it. But you can change it up top or you can press F5. While holding control down, you'll see a bar pop up. Now you don't see it at first, but once you click on it, hold control down, you'll see the bar pop up. Now you didn't see it at first, but once it pops up, it's automatically there. And that's how you can control the overall decibel level of your waveform, all right? Or the gain, rather. It's the same thing that I did earlier. Oh, that's right, you all weren't here earlier. So earlier I talked about another way to do it was just, you can highlight the track. Like say if there was a section that I needed to be lowered. Let's say for instance that this first section, like right here. Oh my God, you gotta love these high peaks. So when you come to a high peak or a high transient that's really, really, really loud, maybe I just want to lower these down some, all right? So I can do what I just showed you, press control and then reduce it that way. Or I can go up here to apply effect. Let me slow down. Process. Apply effect, gain, and then once you go to gain, there's some settings up here that you can do, default settings. So let's say I want to just cut it 1 decibel level, all right? It'll reduce it 1 decibel level. Now, that might not sound natural. Is that going to sound natural? We doing a cave. Okay, so it still is, and if I wanted to reduce that even more, then I can do the same thing again, or I can just do what I just did then, but that would actually lower the whole section. So this is why you want to actually cut it first, or split it. So if I split it, press S here, split it there, press S there, then I can lower those peaks. But that's essentially what a compressor does anyway, you know. Well, most compressors. Some compressors don't do that. They work the opposite. But that's what you really wanted to do. The compressor is supposed to just bring those peaks down. Sorry, I hit my microphone stand. I do that sometimes. So it's more even with the rest of the audio form. So, okay, back to your original question, James Brown. All right. Hopefully you're still with me, my friend, because I feel good. Get up off of that thing. Okay, I'm sorry. Anyway. All right. I split this earlier, right? Let's refresh our memory what this was actually saying. Torio. Okay, Torio. All right. So I'm going to take this. I'm going to hold control down. Now I'm clicking on the actual clip itself since it's split. And you'll see that plus sign pop up. All right. Now I can drag this straight down. Now here's the problem. When I drag it down to another track, how do I keep it lined up? Oops, I didn't mean to copy way over there. Now when I do tutorial, it's going to be just one. Okay, I didn't want that. All right. So I undid it. Remember, anytime you make a mistake, Control Z. And actually, you know what? I should get a shirt that say that. Control Z saved my life. And then I'll put Cakewalk at the bottom. Cakewalk by Bandlab. Okay, any DAW. I think if you're on Mac, Apple Z. I think Apple Z works on that, if I'm correct. Control Z undoes everything that you just did. And you actually can go, there's an undo history. I don't know if you ever knew that or not, but that's another topic. Okay, I don't want to get too far off topic because this is what happens, you all. I think about one thing and then I think about a million other things right after that. Let me turn this loop off for a second. Now, this is how I'm going to keep this in line. All right, I'm going to zoom in some. So let me play with this because I think I'm right. I might not be right. If you hold Control Shift, I think Control Shift, right? Maybe this is right. If you hold it, or it might be Control Alt. We'll find out. I can drag this straight down, but no matter where I move my cursor at, it's only going to line up exactly where I want it to line up at. All right. But let me actually do it this time because I didn't do it that time. So, and then I'll drop it down. So Control Shift, let it go. Boom. There it is. Now, what am I going to do with this audio? James Brown, what we getting ready to do? We getting ready to add some delay to that thing. All right. Now, I'm doing it this way because I want to affect the actual track. All right. The second track. I don't want to affect the middle track. I mean, the original track, because this is going to have the effect on this section, but I don't want it on this section. All right. So the way I can do this is I can just apply delay to this, insert audio effect, add delay. I can use a Sonitis delay. I can use a tempo delay, whatever delay you want to use. I'm using Sonitis. First, let me figure out how I'm going to get this to work. Do I want it to, how do I want it to delay? Let's play around with it. Let's do it on quarter note first. All right. I'm going to turn everything down because I'm not worried about any of these settings yet. But I am worried about this one. I'm going to click on this manual and make sure this is set to manual. And what it's going to do is it's actually going to, it's going to set it to whatever tempo I have this song at. All right. Night tutorial. All right, and in that case, it did not do it. So let's set that anyway. If it doesn't do it, normally it'll change automatically, but in this case, it did not change. So you can change it to 80 BPM. Okay, hold on. Let's see. Is it gonna let me change it? All right, it normally does let you change it. Let's see, 80. Uh-oh, what did I just do? I'm moving too fast, y'all. All right, is it gonna change? Let's see if it changed now. Torio. Okay, so right now, I don't like it. I don't like it, right? Because right now I don't hear nothing. I don't have anything mixed in. So let me add the delay in first. Let's see. Torio. Okay, all right, I got it. It's getting there, you know. So feedback, how many times you want it to loop? Torio. Okay, all right. Now, maybe I don't like that. I still don't like that. Maybe I want to change the timing. Let's try 1. What I want you to think about is how to get the timing right on your delay is think about how you want your beats to be subdivided. So if my BPM is 80 and what is my BPM? Let's listen to it. Midnight tutorial. Okay, so those are my eighth notes. So my quarter note, Torio. So Tori. Did you see here how the delay did that? It said Tori. Listen to that one more time. Oops, I'm clicking on something else. Tutorial. Okay, so I have it on quarter note. It's going to repeat every quarter. Now, right now, my metronome is set to eighth notes. All right. Okay, I had it at quarter notes first. All right. So maybe I do like the 1. And maybe I don't want the feedback to be that much. So if I put it on 0, it's only going to repeat 1 time. Watch this. Torio. All right. Now, maybe I don't want this actual Torio. I just want the I just want the tail of the delay. All right. So I'm going to show you how to do that too as well. Now, this is one way to do it. I said there was 2 ways to do it. There's really 3 ways to do it, okay? But this is one way. All right, so stay with me. Maybe I want to adjust the frequency, okay? Sometimes it's good to roll off on this because I apply too many effects. Eventually, Tutorial. Okay, if I wanted more of a, lo-fi filter in that, that's fine. Maybe I took out too much highs, so let's add the highs back in. Torio. Okay, and that might be fine right there. I took some of my lows out, which is cool. The mix wise, maybe I don't want the mix that high. Torio. All right. Crossfeed is how it's gonna go back and forth between left and right. So let's play with that. Torio. I'm free. Okay, and you can see that's gonna go on forever, and we don't want that. All right, let's go back. Flowing. Let's go back. Let's minimize this a little bit. Drag back over. All right. So now, if say I don't want these initial, words or these this transient. Maybe I just want the tail end of this delay. So what I can do is I can just move it in, and maybe I just want that other part, and then I can do. So I got to cut off. I'm gonna listen to that real quick. Tutorial. Okay, but maybe I didn't like that, so I put it back in that way. If I want this to be, if I just want this audio just to be affected by itself, then I can actually apply the effect directly to this. Another thing I can do is I can automate when the delay comes on and off, all right? Or I can add it directly to, like I did here, add it to the track. Another way I can go about doing this, let me mute this track for a second. And that might not be exactly what I really wanted. Another way I can do is I can right click this section and I can go to process effect. All right, now keep in mind, process effect is kind of like writing the effect or printing the effect. You may hear that in some tutorials where they talk about printing the effect, which means printing the audio. When you print it, or is basically I'm embedding it in the audio itself. The ducking compression via sidechain is something I am going to need eventually once I stop erasing my MIDI and can't find the Control Z for sure. Cakewalk for Dummies is something I need. Yeah, ducking compression and via sidechain, and yeah, that's actually that's going to be one of the things that I'm going to talk about during these live nights this week. So. And I was trying to do some stuff with compression, side chain compression. The last time I went live, and I was like, I felt like a dummy because it was something that I use, but I don't use it all the time. It's so important, But it's like one of those things, you know how you, when you're doing something, you're like, man, I figured out how to do something new. And you're like, wow. And you said, that is so cool. And then 2 years later, you're like, I don't remember how I did that. I don't remember doing it. So that's kind of how I was. I was like, I've done this before, but I don't remember how to do it. And I had to tell people on the stream, I said, blah, 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 blah. Let me go back and check and make sure that I know what I'm doing. So I did kind of figure out what's going on with that. And yeah, I can talk about that. Well, right? It'll be a little easier when I have more tracks, though. This is just dealing with one track. And I don't even know how I got to talking about just this audio track. But this is what happened when questions pop up, you know. It makes you want to do something. Yeah, Control Z for sure. Control Z and Control Shift Z. Control Shift Z is to redo what you undid. So, say for instance, like, you know, if I had deleted this, I can press Control Z to bring it back. But maybe in the process of, or maybe it was something I really liked what I did, and I undid it too quick, and I was like, oh, dang, man, shoot, I just changed it. Why did I undo it? Then I can bring it back. You remember? You remember me looking it up? Yeah, man, I was like, dude. And I mean, I've got a few questions that I've been asked since then. Someone asked me about how to, what is it? How to reverse reverb without having to bounce it down. So, and I mean, I know one way to do it, but it's still going to require you to freeze the track, which is kind of like bouncing it down, but it only work. I mean, it's temporary. You're not really bouncing it down, but that's another story. So a lot of time when I get all these questions, I just absorb them. And, you know, yeah, I don't know this, but I read so much. Like, I'll go to Cakewalk documentation in a heartbeat and be looking at things on there. And I'll go to Reddit in a heartbeat, and I'll get on YouTube, and I'll be looking right at Creative Sauce and all the other ones too as well, because I absorb as much information as I can, because I know I don't know anything. I know just a little bit more than the next person. That's all. just a little bit more, but I still don't know nothing. I'm still figuring this out just like you all are. Okay, so we did this one. We muted that track. Now we're going to right click, process effect, audio effect. And then you choose your delay. So let's say I want to use, I'm just going to use tinnitus anyway. I'm just kind of familiar with these more than anything. This one is very important. That make sure you audition what you're going to do. If I do that factor, once again, I'm going to take my factor, my feedback, my crossfeed, all of that down. I'm going to mix it in. Let's start about 51%. All right. And let's listen to that. Okay. And let's say that I did like that. Now, what I don't like about this is it creates it as a stereo track. I believe there's a way where I could just do mono. So, but it is stereo audio, which is why, because there's a left and right. So that's why it creates, when you actually render it, it makes a stereo version of the track, which is okay. You can always convert it back to mono if you want to. Or you could just do a mono and not use one side and just use the other side. Let's put this back where it was. Oops, 980. That's not where I meant to put it at. Can you all even see the screen? I keep forgetting that I still got my face up here, my big face up here. Let me minimize that. I keep forgetting to do that. So I want you all to be able to see the whole screen, even though I can't zoom in at all. When I edit this, eventually I'll be able to zoom in on some stuff. All right, so, and it still didn't change. Okay, there it is. Now it changed. So, gonna listen again. Okay, and then, and that might be cool. And I might want to go with that. And then I can press OK. All right. And so now I want to listen to it. And you can hear it like, it seemed like it got lower. If I wanted to convert this to mono, let me start over. Let me make sure I slow down. Say you like how I'm hands-on with your people. Oh yeah, I gotta be hands-on. I just don't want to put my hands on y'all though. I'm hands-on, but I don't want to put my hands on nobody. No, I'm just messing. Anyway, all right, that's another story. I'm sorry, I got late night humor. So this audio track is here. I'm gonna click on it. All right, I'm gonna right click on it with my mouse. I'm gonna go down to convert to mono. All right. Why am I doing this? I really don't know. I don't like the stereo being there. It is going to affect it mixing wise because you can kind of hear the difference already. It seemed like it lost some of the power. So once I click that, then I can listen. Late night tutorial. Late night tutorial. Can you hear the difference in how it just changed like that? It seemed like the audio, like the volume just dropped down. Let me do my little control trick again. All right. Try to match level that one with the other one. I don't know if it's going to be about right there. And this is the reason why I like to do it on a separate track. Late night tutorial. Okay. Now, what was the problem? I didn't leave it room to trail, like you are, or to tail rather, not trail, but or tail. I didn't leave room for the tail, so it just chopped it right off. This is a way to get precise affecting. So, but this is not what I want. Control Z. All right. So, really, the best bet is to do. Now, in some cases, I used to process it just like this. Ideally, what I really wanted to do was just like go out a little bit. You want to leave yourself enough space, enough headroom, so the way, well, not really headroom. You know what I mean? Enough space so when you apply the delay, it doesn't just chop off like that. But I think ideally, the best thing is to, if I have it here, then I can really make this wet. So I can really make it wet. And then I can always turn the volume down on this if I don't want the delay to be that loud. Tutorial. Okay, so I can do it like that. Let me turn that annoying metronome off. We doing a cakewalk, late night tutorial. Okay, and maybe I don't like the way that it's like it came into you know, that's what I heard. I don't like that. So what I'm gonna do is, what do you do when you really don't want the transient of an audio? Who knows the answer? Okay, let me read the other comments over here. I'm sorry. I saw Streaky on YouTube last night called vocal tricks they all use. He was talking about compression, but he uses Logic and has expensive stuff. I feel all of it can be done on stock and Cakewalk. Look, you just said something there. Okay, so let me tell you this. Cakewalk by Bandlab. Now, while it doesn't have every single plugin that Sonar used to come with, if you were ever a Sonar user, when Sonar came out, it was over. Like, PC, hands down, Sonar was running the show. I mean, of course, you had some of the newer companies that just came out, like Bitwig, and actually, I don't know how long Bitwig has been out. I can't remember. I have a copy of Bitwig. You know, I never downloaded it. I mean, I never installed it. But Bitwig, Reaper, none of those were out yet when Sonar came out. Put a fade on it. If you like it, then you should put a fade on it. Okay, I'm sorry. That's the wrong song. Why? Look, y'all gonna get me copyright strikes on here. Yep, I gotta put a fade on it. So you come right to the corner, tail end, and you do a fade. I don't want that initial transient. I just want the sound that comes after it. Night tutorial. Okay. Now, as delay, it's awfully dry. So actually, I would probably put reverb on it. But you can play around with it a bunch of different ways. But because I brought the level down, it's adjusting on here, so I can have those effects here separate. Another way I can go about doing is automated. Uh, James Brown said, he said question mark. Is that question mark regarding to the song that I just said or to the comment I said before I started singing the song? You said put a fade on it. I said, if you like it, then you should put a fade on it. Oh, I don't know. It sounded good at the moment when I sung it. The other way I would go about doing it. So we got this way, split the audio, copy it to a new track. Remember, Control Shift allows you to line it exactly where it is in the timeline. Track blah, 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 not track one. On track one, yeah, track one, I can take the audio, I can manipulate the audio itself on that track. How did you fade that? Tony Goodman, how did I fade it? So you're gonna go right. I'm gonna zoom all the way in, man, so you can see this thing. I'm gonna go all the way. Let's see. I'm gonna go all the way so you can see it. All right. So at the very end of the clip, if you're at the top, okay. So first of all, there's multiple sections within one clip. So if you're in the middle, that allows you to crop it or resize it. Well, no, not really resize it, but I was to the fade. Okay. All right, so this allows you to, crop parts or, basically drag them in, drag them out, whatever way you want to call it. But if you go to the very top where it says record to, all right, you should see. Now I don't use. Okay, I'm sorry, you can't see it now because I already moved it. So let me do this real quick. Let's just take it back. Bloop. There it is. So now you don't see it anymore. But if you go to the very tip, you'll see what looks like a triangle. What kind of triangle is that again? A right angle triangle. Once you see a 90-degree triangle, hold your left mouse button down, and then just keep going over until you want to. You can go as long as you want. So, but really, I know that transient was that smaller wave. So like right here. And then all it's saying is that no audio comes in until basically right here. And by that point in time, it's the tail end of it. So I don't actually get the consonant that, because I really don't want no tutorial. Hey, funny tutorial. All right, unless I'm doing some chops or something like that, and I wanted to do that. So that's how you fade in, and you could do it on the backside. Backside is still a right triangle, is just facing the opposite direction, and then I can do that. This is one of the secrets to making sure that your audio is clean as it can be. Like on top of recording audio clean first, making sure you got proper gain level coming in. If you're using a compressor going into Cakewalk, that's fine if you want to do that. If you want to compress it afterwards, either way, it's okay. Me personally, I want it as dry as I can get it, and I want it as tight as I can get it coming in. So I put it like that. I'm in a room that's untreated. All right. I'm in a corner of a room, which is really like probably one of the worst places to be at when recording. So, but anyway, I know that when I'm coming in, I'm getting a good signal. Like I said, the preamps that are in my X Air, my Behringer, work really well. These are Midas preamps. Midas has been around for eons as far as audio equipment, as far as doing live sound. They join together. So Behringer has a lot of their stuff in there now, which makes this a really good mixer. I also have my focus right here. Oops, I keep popping this. My little pop filter. I have it to the side. I don't really use it because I got a windscreen on this one already. But I've got my Scarlett right here. And I also have these Elises, these little cheap monitors that are also a USB interface as well. My drum teacher gave this to me because I used to go over his house and work on Cakewalk and show him how to work Cakewalk. And he was another one that's in his 70s. And I mean, as soon as I leave, he'll be like, "Man, what? Man, it ain't working no more." And I'll be like, "Dude, I just fixed it, you know." So anyway, but once you get a good sound coming in, all right, you're gonna have a lot of noise. All right, you're just gonna have noise. Period. You know, it could be paper rattling in the background. Somebody, I don't know, somebody slammed the door on the refrigerator or something like that. If you're there by yourself and you don't have nobody in the house, then maybe you don't have no noise. But everything makes noise. The lights make noise. If you got the heating, your air conditioner, whatever on, that all makes noise. So you want to try to eliminate as much as that noise as possible. Now, you don't want the noise to be coming from your mic itself, meaning that my mic is so cheap that the mic itself has noise anyway, because it adds on top of the noise that I got in the room. So once you're coming in, you got a good signal. Everything looks like it's recorded good. You can listen with your headphones. I always say listen to headphones. Even though if you listen on speaker, you can just hear so many finer details with headphones when you're like trying to really tweak stuff. I always go back to reference on your speakers though. But yeah, so once you get everything recorded, all of these little things, I can use a gate on there if I want to get rid of like these extra spaces where I'm not really doing anything or I'm breathing. I can use the fade in, fade out. So then if you want to do that, you're going to be doing a whole lot of cropping, or a lot of splitting. So I'll split here, split there at the end of it, and then do a fade in, fade out. I do a lot of acapella stuff. And one of the tunes that I did, and it's funny because my wife was watching a show about SWV and Escape. So if you're not familiar with SWV, Sisters with Voices, they have a song called Rain that I actually redid as an acapella song where I recorded. I might pull that track up one day so you all can see the process. It's actually on another computer, but I'm gonna bring it up and you can see like how I did everything with all vocals. Like I made the drums, hit, smack, bass drum, I sampled my voice, everything is just vocals. How do you know how much reverb to put on your vocals? You don't. It depends on what sound you're going for. Okay, so like, but a general rule of thumb is the faster the tune is, the less amount of reverb you put on it. Okay, in the simplest form. All right, we're not talking about time and we're not talking about space or anything like that. The slower a song is, or emotionally, depending on where you want the song. If the song is slow, but you're really going more not sweet and gentle, you want more like hard and angry type of slow, then you might not put as much reverb on there. But if I'm going for something, say for instance like Ed Sheeran, like Perfect, or Dan and Shay, 10,000 Hours, anything like that where it's kind of a slow, subtle song, it's real sweet and gentle, then you're gonna probably put a lot more reverb on it. But that's the thing about effects. Like you can have, and most of the time you'll see on, if you watch any tutorials about like Mix with the Masters or any other ones, you'll see that there's multiple reverbs on singers. Okay. I wish it could be easy and you just say, yeah, I just put one delay on there and I put one reverb and that was it. But multiple reverbs have different functions. You can have a reverb that's like a hall reverb that's really deep and wet, and that might be something you want to do for a particular phrase. The good thing about it is that you can automate that reverb on and off whenever you want to. Or, like I said, we can take a crop out, take a clip and split it and drag it to another track and say, hey, this is reverb wet, or this is reverb, reverb plate. Okay. Plated reverb is one of my most favorite reverbs to use. And you'll probably hear that out of everyone. And only because when I was at Webster University, I was studying audio, we had like plated reverbs there. We had actual plates, and the real sound,
the way you run everything, whew, I don't even want to think about all those wires and stuff for trying to hook that stuff up. Feel better about the Behringer 204 HD since you said that. And my son in Arizona is a computer tech, so he set me up. He said the music is up to me, so here I am. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I've always been one, and my father's the same way. We go for the underdogs. Like, I never feel like if I have to come into an industry or come into I don't know, recording or having a home studio, and I feel the urge that I have to go out and spend, you know, I don't know, $1,000 on a mixer or $1,000 on a vocal processor, or you know, hundreds and hundreds of dollars on speakers and stuff like that, just to be able to record and get a good sound. Your mentality is not right. Um, do higher quality equipment make it easier for you to record? No, it really doesn't. Because at the end of the day, if you still don't know what you're doing, I can have I can have a I can have a universal, not universal. I can have an Apollo on the side of me. This mixer right here, 18 channels. All right, it's got 6 aux sends on it, even though they're TRS quarter inch. This mixer is only 400. I think it was 400, 449, 450, like under $500. All right, I can take this live. It's got all the different effects on it that I need. It's a bunch of things I can do with it. So it's not just used for studio, but I can take it out of the studio if I need to. $500. If I turn around and spend something on something that's like $1,000, for me to get to something that's 18 channels like this, it would be at least probably $700 or more, you know. And does it mean I'm going to have really good sound? Maybe. But I don't know, because like I said, at the same time, if I was putting myself in the shoes of someone that does not have money to be trying all of these new fancy things, that's why we rely on videos that we watch, right? So we watch a video, we say, I'm thinking about getting, you know, that new guitar. And then you watch somebody and you say, "Ooh, yeah, this Gibson is, you know, it's amazing. Like the fretboards and it has, you know, and it's made with emery and it's got gold plated, you know." And we're looking at it and we're like, "Ooh, that guitar is nice." And then they tell you, "Yeah, you got to have this because this guitar is like no other. Like, I mean, it makes you breakfast in the morning. It'll rub your back in the middle of the night." Then you're like, "Yeah, I'm gonna get that guitar." But if you just said the guitar is great, that's not going to really tell me anything. I'm like, the guitar that costs $200 is sitting in my corner that I haven't played yet. It's great too as well. I just haven't played it. And because I'm not a great guitar player, why would I go spend $2,000 on something, you know? So anyway, I got way off on a tangent. Tandrift. That's not the right word, but it sounds like a good word. It's like dandruff and tantrum. That's what I'm looking for. A lot of engineers say, push it to you, then back it off. Explain that again. Do you mean like how they're how people a lot of engineers are promoting audio stuff? I don't know. I didn't understand that, James Brown. I didn't understand that one. Shoot. I don't yeah. Explain that one more time. Explain it one more time. All right, but anyhow, I don't know what you meant by that one. I hate when sometimes you type and stuff and it don't come out the way you meant to type, and maybe that is the way you meant to type. I'm just not understanding the comment. But yeah, the moral of the story is that you've been playing guitar. Yeah, I remember you telling me that. Yeah, man. Yeah, you know. I tell you what I was doing with a guitar when I was a baby. I was playing it just like I was playing a drum set. I was smacking that sucker and I was dragging it around on the ground and on the floor. And I tore the neck up.
In fact, it was my dad's first guitar that he gave me. I think I was probably about 2 or 3 years old. But like I said, when I started playing drums, when I first got interested in drums, I was about 6 months old. And my dad, them used to have rehearsals all the time. And like I said, my dad played drums. Pretty much everybody in the band played drums. So, but anyway, my uncle, not my real uncle, but like my uncle, Alfred was, phenomenal drummer. Studied jazz and everything, and I would just sit there watch him, and I would always bug them to get on the drums, and they told me that when I was a young age, I had perfect timing. So that's how I got into drums. And then I started writing songs. I was singing, and then around 9 years of age is when I started playing piano, all by ear. Actually, like the way I originally learned how to play, I was already playing, but the way I learned how my chords, like learned chords, I didn't know the names of them then, but I learned chords by, and I tell this story all the time, but you probably heard. If you heard it, I'm sorry. I feel like an older person now. Like, I know I probably told the story a million times, but my father had an Alesis MMT8. Okay, Alesis back then were ahead of the game as far as MIDI, and they had a MIDI sequencer. It was an 8-track sequencer. All right, and in there, it used to take a little. I don't know what size disc it was. It wasn't like a regular floppy disk. It wasn't like a 3 1/4. It was something different, a little smaller. But it used to take a disc, and you can save all these bunch of songs on there. So my dad has always wrote original music. Some stuff has came out, etc. Blah blah blah. He's got an album out, and it's got music out all the way back to the 70s, basically. Anyway, but I got on there, and I used to come home from school, type of cat. When I got out of school, middle school, I was in middle school, I would do my homework on the bus. Come home, only thing I did was music after that until it was time to eat. And then I go right back to doing music. So I would be on the drums, I'd be listening to music, absorbing everything. And on this MMT8, there's a part that's called event data. Kind of looks like this right here. Let me show you in the corner. I don't know if you can look at it now. Let's see views. Can I look at it here? Event list. Ooh, that is an ugly color. I changed the way this looked, y'all. That's why you see this pink and green and stuff. This was for a video where I was talking about how to adjust your theme editor. But I've never seen this green look like this right here. That threw me off. So event track. So if you're dealing with MIDI, you will see everything in track. You'll see, the time. You'll see the channel. So what I did was I formed all the chords of his song, one of his songs, by looking at the data, and I took each note and I said, oh, this note falls on beat 1, measure 1, beat 2, 420 with ticks or whatever. And, so I put everything down, and I tell you, I don't know how long it took. But by the end of the day, my dad came home, and I was playing one of his songs, chord for chord, and I had it memorized. And my dad puts a lot of chords in songs, so we're not talking about like no little, C major, F major, G major, C major. This is like F minor 9, C7 sharp 5, E minor 11, flat 13, etc. Stuff like that. Like these are jazz chords, and I learned it. Not by not by reading notation, not by learning and by ear, even though I knew how the songs went. I mean, I listened to the songs, so I knew how they went. But I learned the songs by looking at data. And that's what started my journey. And I guess that's why I've always been a technical person for real. Okay, so, you said the reverb. Okay. I need you to say push it. Okay, yeah. See, what it was is that, look, James Brown, you said a lot of engineers say push it to you, it then. So when you say he, I didn't know if you were saying hey, or if you were saying HE double hockey sticks, or if you were saying, but you was trying to say here, push it till you hear it. That is a great word of advice. That's what anything in mixing. Push it until you hear a difference, okay? So, which is why mixing is so opinionative, because I might have lost more of my high frequency range than you. So if I send you my song, you might take some of the highs out, and I might be like, can you make it a little crispy, or can you add a little bit more clarity to it? Can you add a little bit more highs to it? And it might be because I've lost. Everyone loses part of their high range frequency range, whether you know it or not. They always say that sometimes if you hear ringing as you get older, every now and then, even when you're a kid, you might hear a slight ringing. And they say, I don't know if this is true or not. I'm not a doctor. But every time you hear this ringing, you have lost one part of your frequency span. All right. Now, the question is, how high can you hear? Well, we know the average speaking range is between 800 to 2.5 kilohertz. So that is like our range. That's like the meat and potatoes of the human voice, basically. So if you're like hearing a difference with what you're doing, it's the same thing for us doing a high pass filter, which brings me to real quick, and I'm gonna wrap this up soon because I went longer than I planned on. I originally planned on going 45 minutes, and I went a lot longer. But anyway, let's say, oh, and I didn't like this thing right here, that lead vocal set, that thing I put on there earlier. Yeah, I didn't like that at all. It's all good, bro. It's all good. I just, like I said, sometimes when you're trying to type, stuff come out the wrong way, and then like me, I can't talk to you, so I don't know. I'm like, let me ask him for clarity, figure out what's going on. I didn't like that vocal preset. I really didn't like it. And I don't know if mine's gonna be any different. It might not work. Like I said, vocal presets work cool in certain situations. This is the one for I'm Sorry, and I think it does have auto tune on it, but I don't want the auto tune on right now. So, but on here, I'm doing a high pass filter or a low cut, in case you don't know what that means. I'm cutting the lows. Okay, good thing about this is that I like this, you know, and some people may not like the way this looks, but what I do like about this one is that each of these bands, I can change their functionality. So if I want to do a high pass, or if I want to do a peak or a dip, or if I want to do a shelf, or if I want to do a low shelf or a high shelf, or if I want to do a high cut or a low pass filter, whichever way. So anyway, but I got this high pass filter, I'm sorry. Woo, let me get my terminology right. So I got a low cut, high pass filter right here. Same thing with this, all right? Let's say the only thing I put on here was the EQ. Let me turn these other ones off. All right. And let's go back and solo it again. I just want to solo this part. It might be annoying to me, but I hate when I keep moving fast. If you all didn't know, let me do that one more time. If you go up to the top where you see the timeline is, I call this a timeline. It might not be called a timeline. I don't know what it's called. I can't remember right now. But when you highlight, if you highlight, I'm holding the left mouse button down. And then if you press Shift L for the shortcut, or if you just press the button up here to the top. Here, let me click that screen so you can see it again, what I'm talking about. So if you click up here, that's right underneath the loop section, it'll set it to those points that you highlighted. Or you can press Shift L and then it'll adjust. So say, for instance, I wanted to just highlight this one part. Shift L, and now you can see that it changed. So you can see my loop points are right here. So I'm going to drag just this section right here. There we go. Now let's play that. And this is just with the EQ, just with the high pass filter. All right. And we want to hear the difference. What's the difference? Just went to the store, got it. Okay, hold on. I still got something else is on. I keep forgetting. When you have this, like this chain that I created, I minimized it. Keep in mind that sometimes it may only seem like it's 4 plugins right here, but there's actually some more. So if you see a little black arrow, know that there's some other effects here. So I got another EQ and a reverb at the end. So let me go back now. Now this is just EQ, all right? Even though I had auto tune in front, but I don't have the auto tune on yet. So play it. Just went to the store, gotta get this thing going. Just went to the store, gotta get this thing going. So just went to. I can do, once I have my high pass filter set up on band 1, I can sweep with the frequency, all right, until I find out where I hear the sound change. And if you hear it change, then that you letting yourself know that you cut off too much lows. To the store, gotta get this thing going. Just went to the store, gotta get this thing going. Just went to the store, gotta get this thing going. Just went to the store, gotta get this thing going. Just went to the store, gotta get this thing going. So at the most, if I wanted to, I could take it up as far as 230 hertz, okay? It is still a subtle change, all right? So I just know, I'm like, I would say try to do a cut around between 50 and 80 hertz, okay? Or 50 and 90 hertz. All right, because once again, this is vocals. It depends on what sound you're going for, though. If you're going for a more darker, fuller, warmer sound in the vocals, then you might leave some of that there. But I still would say cut everything below 40, 50 hertz. And then people always say this, like, why do you cut it if you can't hear it? I can really hear. I actually heard it when I flattened it all the way out. Okay, I heard the difference. You might not be able to hear the difference, but if you got on headphones, you can hear a whole lot of nuances that you normally wouldn't hear on speakers. But everything adds up at the end, so you want to start cutting right away those frequencies. All right, so I got that, and then I'm gonna add my favorite plugin on Cakewalk. And like I said, Cakewalk by Bandlab, it kept most of the plugins. But Sonar, oh my God, it had so many plugins, especially if you got the more expensive packages. So some of that stuff is still here, which is good. Our stock plugins, I don't know. I think maybe Logic has really good stock plugins too as well. Fruity Loops or FL Studio has some really good plugins too as well. But I think our stock, I mean, you can do everything you need to do with the stock plugins. You really don't need to get anything else. So. All right, y'all still here? Y'all ain't falling asleep on me, or yeah? Okay, I'm the one that's probably falling asleep. Okay, here we go. I lost a whole drum kit. One of my test tracks. It wasn't multi-tracks, just one channel, but it scared me, and I have been scared ever since. If I can stop making mistakes, I could record. Okay, so let me ask you a question. Did you save it after you recorded it? Like as soon as you got done recording that track. Whoop, Control S, save. If you saved it, then you should be able to still recover it or still find it. Unless you saved it after you deleted it or after you lost it. Or unless the file is corrupt. And if the file is corrupt, then that's a different story too as well. But yeah, if you saved it, you should be able to find it. Yeah. Oh, okay, got you. Yeah. Man, look. I can tell you some stories. I can tell you some stories of being halfway through the project, bass, guitar, drums, some vocal parts, and then be like, I'm sorry, we got to shut down. And I'll be like, Cakewalk? Really? How dare you? Not on Bandlab. I think I've only had Bandlab cut out on me maybe twice, I think, since I've been using them. Since Bandlab took over. Got a crook in my neck. And the only reason why that happened was one time it happened on a live, I think it was a live stream. I was on a live stream and I was actually showing how to sample using the TX16WX. I think that's what it's called, and it might not be right. Okay, yeah. And yeah, sometimes files can get corrupted, or sometimes it could be just like memory issue, some multiple things are processing. Sometimes even the updates can have bugs in them. So, but that's with any software, yeah. So every software is going to have some type of problem every now and then. But yeah, it's just that's one of the things about it. Is that you hope that every time you record that it doesn't shut out on you as soon as you get finished. So yeah, I like you. I press Control S like crazy, bro. They just say the rule of thumb is to do it every, I don't know, 30 seconds might be extreme, but every minute, just boom. Every time you make a change, that's good. Every time you make a change that's good, save it. Now, if it's something that you did like accidentally, shoot that, like I deleted the track, or I copied the wrong section over, or I mislaid, or I don't know, I did something weird. Yeah, don't save that. Exit out of that project and go right back into it, and it'll be just like it was the other day when you was working on. You like, cool. I'd rather start over from like midway versus starting over from the very beginning. Yeah, that's how you do it. And then back it up too as well. You can always back it up. Get you a flash drive, SD card, or something like that, and back it up to that. All right, so I got the VX64 on here. I'm just doing a de-esser. All right, sample de-esser. I don't have. It's got a doubler on it. It's got a delay on it. It's got compand, which is expansion, which is gonna like help give saturation and brightness to it. It also has a compression on it. I'm not doing any of that. It's got a tube equalizer, which is great. I love this plugin because it's like its own vocal preset, basically. And you can route these however you want. All right. And I don't know if you knew that or not, but I can move these wherever I want in the chain. Okay. But anyway, right now I'm just using that. And then I can add saturation coming in, and I can add saturation coming out as well. So love this plugin. The whole series that comes with this. So this is one of those Cakewalk plugins that came out in Sonar that is just, it looks nice. It works great. It does have presets in here too as well. So if you're not sure how to use it, you can use any of these. Now these sound better than the presets that are right here. But anyway, I'm still not gonna use them. So the de-esser, and how do I listen for de-essing? I don't know if it's de-essing on. I mean, if I need any de-essing on this or not. Okay, so you can do a sweep for frequency wise. Okay. Yeah, so now even though I can go down here to 2K hertz, you can notice that you can actually kind of hear the words right there. I don't want to take the words out. I don't want to lose the intelligence. I just want to use most of the consonants. So like a 6K, 9K. Okay. So I would say like between 6 and 8K is where I'm getting most of that sibilance at. Just went to the store, gotta get this thing going. Just went to the store, I can take the depth gotta get this off, thing, which is gonna remove how much sibilance I want removed, or basically set that level. Normally, I typically do this like 50 to 75%. I don't ever take it all the way up. Background vocals, I do take it all the way up, but this is just assumed to extreme. Now, once again, keep in mind that you're losing some of your top end, but we can always add that back in later on. So I'm gonna keep it up, and then after that, in my chain, when you go live, do you send out a notice? I have all checked on your bell, but I'm not getting notices. So when I go live, it should send you a note. Like it should immediately send you a notification that I'm going live, that I'm live right then and there. But as far as when I go live, I haven't been telling anybody. Like I just say, I'm going live every day. Like in April, I'm going live every day, but I don't tell anybody when I'm going live, because a lot of times I don't know when I'm going to go live. I'm doing this late at night because that's the best time to do things. But at this point in time, I'm gonna go live. When I go live, it might be during the day. You might hear kids running around the room. You might hear noise in the background. You might hear the TV on, and hoping nothing gets copyright and claimed or striked or anything like that. But I just got to do it. So regardless, I just got to do it. Now, if you want to schedule, I did send out a community. Hey Tony, do you get the community post that I normally do? Because I do a lot of community posts on YouTube. Do you get those at all? Because if you do get that, earlier I sent out a message that said, important updates for this week. I'm going live tonight. You said no, you don't get it. Okay. I have to share it. Have you signed up for the even though I haven't sent out the emails yet, have you signed up for my free PDF? It's basically a list of different cakewalk tutorials that I've done on the channel already. You should sign up for that. Like, you can find it in the description under any of the videos that I put out recently. Not the live streams. You might not find on the live streams, or you might find it. But if you look on any of the videos that I put out within the last, I don't know, 4 or 5 or 6 months, you'll see it'll say join my all right, download my free PDF, and basically it's just an Excel sheet or like a PDF, and it'll have categories like how to mix vocals, virtual instruments, troubleshooting problems in Cakewalk, and it'll have a video link, a YouTube link for each one of those videos. And I do got to update it, so it's something that updates automatically once I update it. So every time that I update it, you should have it, I think, or does it update? I don't know. But periodically, I'll send out updates for that. It does allow you to join my email list, which I'm slowly building. I should have been doing this 2 or 3 years ago when I first really started getting into this channel, but oh well, better late than never. But on there, I'm going to send out an email tonight. It's going to be a real short email. That's just going to give the schedule for this week. Now, the schedule, I don't even like setting schedules because I'm hoping that I'm able to stick to it, because stuff always pops up. But hopefully I'm able to stick to it. But I kind of give, basically, like you said, I'm sorry taking up some. Man, nobody tripping off you taking up my time, man. Hey, my time is your time, okay? That's what I'm here for, all right? Understand that. Otherwise, I'd be in the bed asleep. I really would be. But like I said, my energy kicks in at late at night, and then I'll be up in the morning talking about, oh my God, I wish I didn't stay up so late. I got to stop this. My beard keeps rubbing on my microphone. Do y'all hear that? I'm like, I don't even have much of a beard, but I gotta like sit up some, kind of slouching here. So but in the email, it's gonna say important updates for this week. I'm gonna put it on this big screen so you can see me a little better, in case I crop this part out later on, because I might crop it out and use it. All right, for a short. Important updates for this week. I'm going live tonight to only answer questions on Cakewalk, hopefully right before midnight. So that's what it said in the beginning. Tuesday and Wednesday, so tomorrow and Wednesday, I'm going live at 11 p.m. Central Standard Time. So if you're in Midwest like me, then it'll be 11 p.m. If you are someone from Denmark, I don't know if they're still on here or not. They might have left, but it'll be like 6 o'clock, I guess, for them, or I think that's right, 6 p.m. No, 6 a.m. So it'll be 6 a.m. They might be asleep. I don't know. But Tuesday and Wednesday, my goal for this whole week, this is the goal. You ready? I am going to write a new song. Now, mind you, I have songs that I've started that I haven't even finished yet. I'm not worried about them. I'm going to write a new song. I'm going to record a new song. I'm going to do all the music, all the vocals. Very easy peasy. It might just be piano and vocals. I don't know. I don't know what's going to, we'll figure out what's going to be, because I don't know anything about what I'm doing yet. I don't even know what style it's going to be in. It might be a ballad. It might be a rock song. I don't know. I'm going to record Tuesday, Wednesday. It's going to be all about recording. Thursday and Friday, 10 p.m. Central Standard Time, I'm going live. It's going to be all about mixing. All right. So that's Thursday and Friday. Saturday is going to be still mixing and mastering. Okay. So I'm going to talk about some basic things of how to master in Cakewalk, but I'm also going to talk about some AI services that you can use, like Lander, eMaster. Even Bandlab has a mastering software that you can use too as well. Because let's face it, you might not be a professional master. Mastering is an art in itself, and you might just do better getting a really good sound with whatever you did with your mix. Drag and drop. It'll spit that thing out. You can listen to it, take it to your car, come back, make some tweaks to it, and then go from there. So I'm going to mix and master. And then on Sunday, 3 p.m. Central Standard Time, I'm going to distribute the song, show you how to distribute the song, okay? I use 2 distributors. I use Lander for distribution, and I also use DistroKid, okay? So I'm going to talk about how to do that. So I got 1 week to write a song, record it, produce it, mix it, master it, and put it out. Never been done before in my life, okay? It normally takes me a long time to record songs and to finish them. Except for my Super World song. If you all haven't heard that, that was a song that I showed the whole process of recording and mixing in Cakewalk, that whole song. But that stretched across 12 videos, and that took like over 2 months to, well, it took like probably 2 weeks or so, 2 or 3 weeks to write, record, and put everything together. But to actually mix it, I did some mixing offline that I didn't show anybody, and to master it and then get it out to the world. Yeah, it took over a month, a few months, several months, 4 or 5, 6 months. Okay, because I kind of finished it, but then I left the song alone. I'll do that. Like, I'm not one to finish a song and then go to the next song. No, I'll be like, I start a song and I said, cool, it's sounding good. Good. Let me go to another song. There's your title. Never been done before. You know what? The last person that gave me a title name like that ended up getting a song out of it. I was at my school and we were doing a talent show. And one of the parents was like, hey, are you going to do the talent show? And I said, yeah, I might do it. I said, but I might sing, but I don't know what to sing. And she said, you should sing a song called Surprise. She said, just make it a surprise. I said, you know what? That's going to be the name of the song, Surprise. And I wrote a song called Surprise, and it's out in the world, and I really like the song. I love the song, actually. I got a chance to perform it live, and I got the video of me performing it live. I don't know if I put it on YouTube or not, but it was a really cool song. It's another song that I'm probably going to bring back in, let you all hear it, because I'm probably going to mix it a lot differently. So at some point in time, you got to say enough is enough and just release the song, right? What's the important thing is, who can tell me, all of you audio engineers that's in the room, who can tell me what's the most important thing about releasing a song? What's the most important thing? Who can tell me? I just one specific thing. Tell me in the chat if you can. And actually, I'm going to put it in the chat. Haven't typed in here the whole day. Oops. Okay. All right. There it is. What's the most important thing to remember when releasing an original song? Can any of y'all tell me that? Now, there's a lot of things that are important, but can you tell me the number one thing? You said in Nashville we wrote a lot from titles, and those cats can write. I learned a lot. I thought I was good until I got there with lyrics. Wow, I got better during those years. Yeah, that's how it is. When you get around, um, iron sharpens iron, as they say. When you get around some cats that are better musicians, better songwriters, shoot, probably better people. Period. And they rub off on you, and eventually you learn some of those things. I know, for as like songwriting, I like I said, I started at a young age, and I wish I can go back and get some of the lyrics that I used to write because I had some really good songs. I just feel I had some really good songs, you know, because I was a poet. I loved poetry growing up, and I used to always write letters and stuff like that. And letters get you in trouble, though. They really do get you in trouble. So yeah, just don't write those letters anymore. Now, just if I learned that I can just say what I felt to the person versus putting in a letter, I probably would have gotten less trouble back then. But anyway, that's another story. Um, when I got in college, I took like I said, I was a going back. I'm a jazz performance percussion major, so percussion is my main area. Vibraphones, all that good stuff. You said your performing rights. You really need to have your business end covered. After that, marketing good, PR. Okay. Now that's so you're going a step further. You're going a step further. James Brown just said it. So you thinking strategically as a business person, but think about this: a person that puts out a song, they're not. Nobody is worried about any of that. If someone listens to your song and it sounds like crap, you don't even have to worry about all of that part because none of that's going to happen. You could do advertising all you want, but nobody's going to click on this song. I mean, or they click on it and they'll click right back off. But the main important thing I was talking about, just sound mixing wise, just audio. I'm not talking about the what comes after that. That's another lesson. How do you get your song to go to pick up, to get momentum and get traction, to get on the radio, etc., to get playtime? And yeah, that piece I'm still filling out now. Yeah, but we will talk about performing rights though, because it is good to have that. You want to make sure you be registered with whether you're with BMI or ASCAP or CSAC or any one of those too as well. But the main thing I was thinking about was this: is that you just want to make sure that make sure it's at a good level and loud enough. And I wouldn't even say loud enough. I would say, because the way the streaming platforms now, unless you're doing an album, now if you I mean not album, unless you're selling CDs still, and if you are, that's cool. Are you selling LPs or something like that, or selling records, which some people still do? But if you're thinking digitally, streaming wise, right now, yeah, when it comes in, they're gonna either reduce it where it needs to be, or they're gonna pick it up. They're gonna pump that sucker up where it needs to be because they have a certain criteria what decibel level it should be at, how many lufs or whichever. And so I wouldn't even worry about that. I would worry about just it sounding good. Like, does it sound good? When it gets on there, is it distorted? When it gets on there, can I hear my vocals? I don't really care about how my vocals sound. Can I hear my vocals? Is my vocals, is it on top of the beat, or are my vocals buried under the beat? So we're not even worried about like, get all of the extra stuff. Now, if you're an advanced person, and like I said, Tony, you studied audio. Was that Tony that studied audio? I mean, yeah, Tony, you've been in a while. Most of you all probably been in a while, so you understand this, how to get in there and mix and stuff. But if I was a brand new person, and I've never mixed before, the main thing I'm worried about is I don't want anything distorted. I don't want, and then, like I said, with all this AI technology out, you have no excuse. You can't say, well, I couldn't get it mastered. When you put it in there, when I first discovered Lander mastering, like 4 years ago, I found out about it from my percussion teacher. Same percussion teacher. I was going over there at Cakewalk. We was using Sonar, And he was like, he had this track. Now I'm showing him how to use Cakewalk, all right? And I used to go over there and give him lessons and stuff like that. And all of a sudden, I come over there one day, he puts the track on. I said, what happened to this track? I said, this ain't the same track I was listening to last week. All of a sudden, it had bottom, it had body, it was hitting hard, and vocals sounded good. I'm like, what track is this? And he said, yeah, man, I put it in this AI. I mean, or of course, he didn't call it AI. He just said, I put it in this thing, man. It'll just mix and mastered for me. And I said, well, what does it call? So when I found out what it was called Lander. I finally, ooh. Joseph, he said, I finally aim out semi-right. That's that typo thing we was talking about earlier, man. Joseph, we was talking about typos earlier. It's like, sometimes I don't know what you're saying, and sometimes when I'm typing, I hate that, and they come out, especially when there's auto correction on your phone and stuff. Tony said he studied engineering at Belmont when the digital thing first hit in the late 1980s, early 1990s. I know that was cool, man. Oh, man, Joseph, everything is cool, bro. Man, I'm sorry you got pink eye. I've gotten them so many times. Shoot. I'm like, that sucks. Pink eye, sty eye, black eye. Shoot, I done had them all before. Oh, man, I'm so tired. Anyway. All right, but what was I talking about? Man, I forgot what I was talking about. Okay, so anyway, let's go back. Look, I got off topic, and I probably didn't even finish the topic, but let me go back into this FX chain real quick so I can explain the last part. We was going back to the main part, which is just making sure that your audio is good. Every mix that you're going to do is going to get better with time. Okay. You said you made a cool track too. I left it there. Where'd you leave it at? Literally got pink. Okay, but I just got the cure too. Okay, me too. Okay, you left it where? Where'd you leave it at? Well, hopefully it's there wherever you left it at, Joseph. So, yeah, where was I at? Oh, I'm sorry, yeah. Oh my God. Okay, all right. Yeah. So yeah, bottom line, make sure the sound is good. I have my first EP. Okay. This is why I was grateful for COVID. I was grateful for COVID. Oh, right when I came, that link. Oh, okay. Oh yeah. Okay. Okay, Joseph, I'm still. It might be me. I might be tripping. My brain is still not locked on what you're talking about. But I know it's gonna click in a moment. And I know what you're talking about then. So my first EP came out, right? And most of the stuff that I do is gospel. But I do R&B and I do jazz and I do some everything. But anyway, so when I was younger, I was primarily writing a lot of gospel music, gospel kind of, different styles of gospel like R&B, pop, some everything basically. I even have a song that's kind of country. So I got a lot of songs that I've written that I've never recorded before, and I have a lot of songs. Well, I had a few songs that I had recorded, but I never released. And so when I was about 17, I started at 16 years of age. 16 years of age. I wrote and recorded the first song in Cakewalk that I ever produced. Well, I was producing everything. I produced myself. I recorded all the vocals and stuff like that. My father kind of coached me along, kind of gave me the harmony parts and stuff that he thought I should sing. Okay. I didn't even release that song, but it actually is is it on YouTube? I don't know if it might be on YouTube. Okay. It might be under my topic channel, but anyway, COVID hit. I was not grateful about COVID, but I was grateful for what COVID allowed me to do, because during or March 2020, I had an epiphany, and it was like, release your music. Like, what is you tripping off of? I had recorded 3 songs, okay? 3 songs when I was 18 years old. Okay, mind you, here I am. I was 36 years old now, or at that time, I think I was, 36, 35. What? I don't know how old I was then. Okay, I'm still young. Yeah, I'm young. Even though I ain't got no hair no more, I'm still young. All right, so at 36 years old, here I am releasing songs to the world almost 20 years later that I had never put out. And the reason why I was holding on to these songs, it wasn't that I didn't like the songs. I loved the songs. I loved the production of it. I loved the musicality of it. I did not like the mix of the songs. And the reason why was because I mixed the songs myself when I was 18 or 19, 20 years old in college. And I just didn't like the mix. So, and then it was, I just felt the urge during that time to just release it. So I released those 3 songs, and then I recorded another song that I made with this Nectar Impact LX25 when I first got this controller, 25 key controller that I got. It was when I first got it. I said, I'm going to make a song. And it was around my 10-year anniversary with my wife. So it was right before my 10-year anniversary. So I decided to make a song called 10-Year Anniversary. So I wrote a song called 10-Year Anniversary, and I recorded it all in Cakewalk and stuff like that. Now that one is fat. The way it was mixed, was amazing. Okay, so but there still was a few things that I didn't like about it either, but I still released that song and the other 3 songs together. So, and then that EP, now I've had people, it has not gotten 1 million views, or 1 million streams or 1,000. I mean, some of them are just breaking 1,000 now. Here it is, 2023. And that part of that is my fault because I wasn't really promoting. So, Tony, when you was talking about promotion and making sure that you got your records right, your business in order, your PR, all of this stuff, that's very important if you want your song to do something. Now, if you don't want your song to do something, you're just putting the song out just to put it out, then you don't really need to worry about any of that. I mean, you probably still want to worry about copyright issues, but that's another story. All right. So I put the songs out, and then after that, I put out another song. I made a song for Mother's Day. I made a song for Father's Day. I made my song Surprise. I was just pumping them songs out. Okay. Still didn't put out a full album yet. So that's what I've been working on. But I've been working on secretly 3 albums. One album, I wanted to just be all acapella stuff, okay? Mainly just me, but, just acapella songs. And then some of them might be like remixes of the songs I've already put out. Some of them are like the remake I did of Rain by SWV. And some of them are other songs that I just kind of made up, so... Okay, exactly what I want to do. Out of thousands of songs I've written, I want to record my favorites, just the ones I think are good. Record them using this Cakewalk. Yeah. Record the ones that you think are good, and then after that, record the other ones. Yeah, because I learned this too as well. The songs that we think are good, somebody else might not think are good. And then the songs that we think are not good might be the ones that take off. Shoot. It's just kind of like videos, except the algorithm on YouTube is way better, I believe. I mean, it knows how to target the right people. It knows how to put your video in front of the right place. And Spotify and Apple Music, they're kind of like that, except that if someone was going to search for your song, and if it was a title that people are like really searching for, then they might stumble upon your song. So, but what if it was? I mean, it's like the same thing, but it's just so different. It's so hard to break through on stream. And even if you do break through on stream, it's not gonna, it's not like you're gonna be like extremely rich or something like that. You got to get over 1 million streams just to break some type of change. Well, yeah, you're more mature now, so whatever you recorded in before, like yeah, I mean you once you get to the point where your voice and everything is settled in, you're not really changing anymore. I think that's the best time to record. Like if I listen to myself now, and I got a high tone, I got a high tone. But when I used to be talking, when I was like younger, I'd be like, yeah, I was just trying to find out if yeah. And when I was singing, I'd be like, hey, and I would hit all these high notes all the way up and through college. And then it's like when I got into my mid-20s, my voice dropped a little bit. I still can get pretty high, but I used to get really high. I was in jazz singers, so I was doing jazz vocals, and I used to be able to get, I swear one time, like one of the songs I was recording, I swear I was almost able to get off the piano. I was so high. Like I could hit a note. I was hitting notes off the piano, off a full 88 grand piano. So I was higher than that. Those whistle notes, like they call it, like Mariah Carey and all them do. But yeah, but now sometimes sometimes it's hard to get. Sometimes I'll be like, whoo, I get to middle C, I'll be like, whoo, okay, and then I get above that and I'll be like, ooh, can I hit this note? Anyway, but that's how your voice changes. Oh, so much okay. Say yeah, the old stuff I recorded it in 3 or 4 octaves, but I think I like my voice better now. Yeah, yeah, you get like a seasoned voice. It's nothing like a seasoned voice. Um, yeah, and I've been trying to learn too is that it's okay to sing low. Like it's okay to put songs in lower keys, you know. But it's also to put them in higher keys too as well. To work your vocal cords out. Because one thing I've learned is that the vocal cords are capable of anything. Your voice is capable of anything. I mean, if you keep practicing, you keep working at it, you can hit pretty much any note that you would need to hit to do anything. So yeah, it's a great thing. All right, and the last component, and I'm almost done. Yay! You said finally sound like me. Yeah, you trying to say I? Are you talking about yourself or are you talking about me, man? As my voice keeps getting lower and lower because I'm getting tired and tired. In the beginning, you were like, whoa, hey, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy, Just a Norm. I'm right here. And then by the end of it, you're like, yeah, and I hope y'all, tune in next time because I'm going to bed now. Yeah, man, smoking does it. And my dad was a chain smoker, but he quit when I was like 4, maybe 5 years old. Because I told him that I wanted to be just like him, that I was going to smoke cigarettes. I think that scared him. So he really stopped. But he used to smoke like a pack, 2 packs a day. Like he was a smoker, boy. Bad smoker. Like all of them smoked too. Anyway. All right. So we've got this EQ. We've got the VX doing a de-essing. And then we've got a sinus compressor. And then on this compression, let me turn it on. On this compressor, I'm doing kind of a fast attack. Not quite real fast, but fast enough. It releases, decent. Yeah, wow, this chain smoking, boy. Yeah. Chain smoking. I realized I never smoked. And I drink socially, but not really. I don't really drink either, but I just realized how much money it costs to get that stuff. I'm like, shoot, you spend all that money on a pack of cigarettes. I'd be like, shoot, hold on, that's a box of Twinkies right there. Shoot, I could get now. Well, get them a box of little Debbie cakes. I can spend that on too. Yeah. So negative 12 decibels, 4-to-1 ratio on here. Attack release at 240 milliseconds. and I had to do a gain boost just because, so I can hear what that sounds like now. Just went to the store, gotta get this thing going. Just went to the store, gotta get this thing going. Okay, and if I didn't want, even though I don't really hear it, now ideally I would have tried to clean up all this little extra noise in between before I did this compression, because I don't want to compress all the noise too as well. But if I want to do a faster release, I can do that too as well, or a slower release rather. Just depends. So it's one of those things just you play. Went to the store, gotta get this thing going. If you're starting to get like a pump effect, where it seems like it's going, then you hearing that, it's like that, then you might want to extend that release a little bit. But for this, I think I'm cool, like right around there. Just went to the store. Another thing is, like, I don't really, I'm a technical person, and I do pay attention to numbers, but I'm not like gonna get on here and be like, yeah, I noticed that on this song I used negative 12.7 decibels, and on the other song I used negative 15 decibels. Okay, I know one's sitting down to really think about that, because to be honest, nobody really cares. Only technical people will care. We care more about the sound. So I always go with, what does it sound like to you? And what kind of sound are you trying to achieve? Are you trying to achieve gritty, nasty, dirty, bright, charismatic, emotional, suspenseful? There's a bunch of different characteristics, and we can, and then eventually you got to find out, well, how do I get all those translate to the effects? Like, how do I get it to sound eerie? How do I get it to sound spooky? Or how do I get it to sound intelligent? Like, I really know what I'm singing about, something like that. But yeah, so anyway, I just did this this compressor. Like I said, I could have used any other compressor. There's another compressor that comes on with Sonitis, and there's a compressor on the Pro channel as well. Two or three, I think 3 compressors on the Pro channel. So I can use any of those. All right, so that's what that sounds like. Gotta get this thing going. Just went to the store. Gotta get this thing going. Okay, and you can already know that I am hitting hot red on this thing. But the good thing, this is the input. I can turn the output down. Just went to the store. Gotta get this thing going. Just went to the store. Gotta get this thing going. I can hear all that extra sound in the background too as well. And then I added an EQ at the end. So a good thing about Sonitis EQ is that you can add multiple EQs of the EQs on this part, but on the Pro channel, the quad curve EQ, which I really love too as well, you can only add one of its kind, but you can add other EQs like plugins that you may have, like if you have, like Fab Filter or any other, Waves plugins or any other plugins, you can add them at the end of your chain too as well, or add them in the beginning of the chain, wherever you want to add them at. So for this I'm Sorry song, don't ask me why my EQ looks like this. I don't remember exactly what I was going for, but I just know those were certain frequencies that I wanted to cut. So I did a lot more cutting on this, even though I already did a high pass filter on a previous EQ. On this one, I'm still taking some of the lows off, doing more like a shelf going down. And then I have on this band 2, 97 hertz, I did a dip right there. Flattened out, and then I did another dip at 443 hertz, which is the area where I call it to be very boxy or muffled sounding. Anywhere between like 350 to like 520, 540, somewhere around that area. That's the area I really don't ever like for my voice. In certain characteristics of what I'm mixing, I might boost that level if it's an instrument or something like that, like a bass guitar instrument. Even though we think, oh, it's a bass instrument, it's supposed to have all the lows in the world. Not realistically. The range for that is between where the sweet spot is between the opposite. So like around 200 180 to like 450, 500, 600 around that range. That's the sweet spot of where the bass is. So you boost it there, you would know the bass cuts down. So wherever I cut, so here for my vocals, I cut all of that area down because I can leave room for my lower instruments like the drums and the bass. Then I have a cut right here, 866, which is another range that can be troublesome. Is the like what I can't remember exact description for this. Around between 800 to like 1.2 kHz or 1,200 kHz is, I call it the nasally annoying sound. It's annoying to me. And you might experience that. I talk about all the time being able to actually tell where to cut frequencies at. If you're in a room that's untreated, there's a bunch of things that you can do. You know, you can get bass traps, you can get, reinforcement paddings, anything to kind of cut down on reflections in the room. You can get furniture, couches, carpets, all of those help, But another thing you can do is find the frequencies that are annoying or that stick out the most. And I hear this all the time, even when I'm editing videos for YouTube with this microphone. I hear the reflections in the room, and you'll notice it. Like if you ever just take a straight recording, no effects, no compression, nothing like that, just listen to it with the headphones. Different phrases, it seems like they reflect differently, and you'll start hearing these extra nuances of frequencies. They'll be like, ooh, 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 ooh. And you'll be like, what the heck is that noise? And you'll be like, what is that noise? And then what I do is, because I do not have perfect pitch, I have reference pitch though. So there's a few notes that I have memorized that I'll be like, oh, okay, it's B flat, that's C, whatever. So then I go to my keyboard and I'll be like, doo, 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 doo. And then I can say, okay, that's a G natural. Doo, doo, ooh. And then I go down to C. So, and then even when I'm doing live sound, I'll hear frequencies all day long. I'm like, okay, I can hear somebody talking or singing, and I'll be hearing frequencies ringing. And then this is the crazy thing about it, is when you find one frequency range, you got to count the harmonics of that frequency range too as well, because sometimes they feed back. And sometimes you may hear notes feeding back that are actually not feeding back, but you're hearing the harmonics of them feedback, which is another story, but that's like advanced EQ. But when I heard that, doo, doo, and I could be like, I have to go to the store. And I'll be like, what's that note? So I have to go find it. And when I find that frequency, first thing I'm attacking is the high pass filter. All right, get rid of that mud in the low end. Second thing I'm attacking is those frequencies that I hear. And if I hear those frequencies, or if it's a frequency that does not sound right. And you know how you can go about doing that too as well. Is that like if I didn't just went to the store, gotta get this thing going. Just went to the store. So this is with the EQ on now. Gotta get this thing going. So I can go up here. Just went to the store, gotta get this thing going. So that, of course, taking the matter that this is a different recording, so it doesn't sound like my other recording. Because my other recording, I think I did with my condenser mic. But I would go through and I would be like, just went to the store, gotta get this thing going. Just went to the store, gotta get this thing. Okay, so you basically, you adjust the Q on it, and then you raise the gain level, and then you sweep until you find a frequency that says, I don't really like that. And then you could dip it. Now, you don't have to dip it much, like, a decibel, 2 decibels, so. Going, just went to the store, gotta get this thing going. Okay, so you can already tell now it's a lot brighter. And if I flatten it back out, went to the store, gotta get this thing going. And maybe I want that frequency there, or maybe I say, it's not that frequency. It's the frequency that's like right next to it. So then you can adjust the EQ. So you make it more sharper. So when it's sharper, oops, I can click on it the right way. To the store, gotta get this thing going. Just went to the store, gotta get this thing going. Yeah, I don't see that effect right there. I don't. That frequency. Gotta get this thing going. I didn't like that frequency. So that's right at 133 hertz. Been following Low G for some time now, and I'm really interested in what he is doing. I think he will like it. He is a great guitarist. Maybe you can teach me how to do what he's doing. Okay, Low G. Yeah, you have to tell me about that channel. I don't know what that is though. All right, and then that was it, y'all. Then the last thing I had on it. Yeah, make sure you send me information about that. Just went to the store, gotta get this thing going. Just went to the store, gotta get this thing going. Just went to the store. Okay, and I might decide that that's too much reverb. So I can bring back some. Gotta get this thing going. Just went to the store. Because keep in mind that if I'm going for something where I want the vocals to be in front of the mix, the reverb is to help it kind of sit in the mix, but also to add space to the mix. But I don't want the vocals to be drowned. So the more reverb you add, the further it brings the vocals back. And then if you add the stereo on there, like a Sonitis has a stereo, then the wider it gets. So the more depth it gets, the more wider it gets. But if you want the vocals like right in front, add some reverb, you know. So enough where you can, I don't say hear it. I know we was talking about earlier, enough where you hear it, then bring it back. So yeah, if you hear it too much, then that's when you know that it's a lot of reverb. Right now, you're going to hear a lot of reverb anyway because I don't have any other tracks playing. But if I hear a whole lot of reverb, then I know I got way too much in it. But then you bring it back. But if you start to feel that the vocals are sitting better in the mix, you know you got a good mix. And then, yeah, so I got that. And then I got my delay going. And that would be my FX change. So that's everything that's on this particular song. Just went to the store, gotta get this thing going. Now, I probably would go back in and tweak the EQ that I had, the second EQ still, even though I took the lows, 133 hertz out. I probably would adjust this mid-range because this is a different recording. Every recording is going to be different. Just went to, which is why I say that it's, if I'm doing vocal presets, keyword is preset. But you're still going to have to set after you pre. So, yeah, so I mean, you're still going to have to do some editing after you pop it on there. But what that's going to do is get rid of the most common things that you find in vocal tracks. Like, we don't need much of the lows. We can get that low end out of there. We know we need some compression and some basic EQing. The vocal ranges that tend to cause most problems, we can do that. But once you get in there, you might find out that, hey, you know, you took out 200 hertz and my voice really needs that 200 hertz because otherwise I sound like a thin transistor radio. So then you need to add this stuff back in. But it's just a good place to start. And it's also because some people don't know what plugins to use or what order to put the plugins in. So you can play around with it. Like I said, if I have this one right here, any new updates soon? Any new update on what? Audio Sound Doctor? What are you, any new update on what? Sure, there's a way to sing into a DAW and play a Miles Davis part on my muted trumpet. Yeah, you mean sing and play the trumpet at the same time? I mean, you could do that anyway. Oh, using MIDI. Oh, yeah, you could. Dude, all you got to do is get a MIDI controller. I mean, not MIDI controller, but get a MIDI, what is it called? There's a device that you can buy that you can clip onto the bell of your trumpet, and you plug it up via MIDI or USB. My father has it, Well, he has one guitar that has built MIDI in, but he also has another guitar that he bought a device that you can attach to it to make it MIDI. So yeah, you should definitely be able to look into that, because I mean anything that's MIDI can be attached to any type of instrument. Because all it's really doing is just picking up the picking up the like the vibrations, and then you just basically doing conversion, right? You're going from audio to digital, you know, like um, ADDA basically. So or you can buy a, well, even though they have like the little wind controllers, even though it's not quite the same as a trumpet, but you still can use it that way too as well. Sing the part using MIDI. Have oxygen 49, but I'm talking about singing the notes and converting. Yeah, you can do that. Where do I find the MIDI? Joseph, what do you mean? Where do you find the MIDI? Oh, you mean the MIDI device like that? I don't know. I have to look it up, man. I don't even remember right now, but I'll try to see if I can look it up. And I still got to send you some other stuff too, Joseph. Anyway, I got to send you some links to some free plugins, and I'll send you that too as well. That's a lot of stuff to get to. Tony got a muted trumpet from Labs. Okay. So on here, even though it won't work on my computer now. It might work on yours. If you have Melodyne, let me create a MIDI track real quick. So if you have Melodyne, this is something I'm just trying to see if it'll work still, but it probably won't work. So I'm gonna drag and drop this scale here. Okay, so it's A minor pentatonic. I'm not really worried about the scale, but if you still had Melodyne, which comes with Cakewalk, and like I said, the free version, the trial still works. Like it worked for me for years before something that I did messed it up. So I don't know. I went in there and I was like I think what happened was I was on Melodyne's website and I was looking into trying to download a different version, and I think it installed that version and it overwrote what I had. So I signed the parts and turned them to MIDI. That's what Low G is doing in the video. So you sing the parts and turn them to MIDI. Yeah, that's what this is basically. But this works the opposite. What I was trying to do is take a MIDI and then turn it into audio. So, which I was able to do this before. Like if you sing, no, that's not right. Or is it? Hold on, let me see. Was this right? Hold on, let me see if I'm doing this right. No. Yeah, this is, what you're talking about is what I had before. So there was a way where you can take this audio track, drag it to MIDI track, and it would convert. And you will see this pop up. It says, select the processor algorithm that best suits the audio material. And then you could do default, automatic, universal, percussive pitch, melodic, and let's say melodic. And then it would do it. But it doesn't do anymore. It works with, it doesn't work with, what's the name of that thing? Auto-tune. It works with, I cannot remember no plugins now. I just said it earlier. What was the name of the plugin? Melodyne, like when I had it on here. So you might be able to do it still on yours, because I made a video about this a while ago. That, you could just, all you do is drag and drop the audio, just like I did. Drag and drop the audio to a MIDI track, and it should convert it. It tries to do it. Now you see it pop up at the top, but it just doesn't work. I don't know why it doesn't do it now, but if I actually install Melodyne, which I'll probably get later on, then it'll work. But I discovered that a long time ago. I was able to take an audio of me singing like do 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 do, and then once I sing it, put it down there, and it would convert it. And then I could change it to bells or timpanis or whatever I want to change it to. So yeah, it does work. So that might be what you're talking about. So is it like an actual trumpet? Is it a MIDI trumpet? Is it a muted trumpet sample, or is it an actual trumpet that has a mute in it, like an actual trumpet? Because you could play the audio for your. If it was an actual trumpet, you can play the audio from your trumpet, and then bring it in, and then convert that to MIDI. Or yeah, or if you got a guitar, like I said, if you got a guitar, yeah, you could play it on guitar. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. It's a sample. That's what you mean. And I was like, I know you said you got it from somebody. You said from Labs. I was like, shoot, I thought Labs was, code for LABS, like Larry Alexander Bopsky the second, Labs, It's like, yeah, man, he gave me a trumpet. I was like, oh, for real? Yeah. Shoot, a mild trumpet. Yeah, I got you. Yeah. Yeah. So you got it from there. So yeah, so that sample, yeah, you could play it on your guitar line and get it going. Of course, you have to go in there and tweak it to make sure that it really sounds like what a trumpet player would play. But sometimes the conversion might be slightly a little off. But I was able, yeah. So I got a video that talks about how to do it. Well, I just showed you how to do it. All I did was just click on the file, you know, click on it, press Control, just like you're getting ready to copy it somewhere else. Yeah, Spitfire Labs, yeah. And then once you see the plus sign, just drag it down to MIDI, and boom, and there it is. But like I said, it just doesn't work on mine anymore because my Melodyne is not working. So once I get Melodyne again, I'll make another video about that. All right, yeah, it is 2 hours and 56 minutes, and I have never went live this long. It started off supposed to be 30 minutes to 45 minutes, but I appreciate you all being here. Of course, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, I don't know why you haven't. I mean, come on. What are you waiting on? Make sure that you like the video. Feel free to share it. Eventually, I'm going to take all these live videos that I do this month, and I might take a break in May. Just give you a heads up. Might take a break in May, and I might use all of these to kind of just edit and chop them, and then I'll post videos. But yeah, that's why I asked about media. I need to figure that out. Yeah. But I mean, that worked. But like I said, try it on your Cakewalk. It might work. Because if you did the demo, if you install Melodyne, then it should still work. Like I said, mine worked for 3 or 4 years. That song YouTube link I sent will be good for you before you go to bed. Okay. Good night, bud. Good night, Joseph. All right, good night, y'all. Y'all can see I'm gone. My voice is almost gone. All right, y'all take care. I love y'all.